Welcome back to day 2 of the VCT Game Changers APAC Last Chance Qualifiers. My name is Grammy and today I'm going to be joined by Zach. How are you feeling today, Zach?
Oh, I'm really excited to be here, Grimmy. I was here for some of the matches yesterday, and those are going to be the teams playing today. So I believe that we have one upper bracket match, which is what we're going to be looking at first, which is between X Team Bo and um, yeah, BASISSIX, BASISSIX, and that's going to be the first matchup for today. The quarterfinals that they were placed in yesterday. I think BASISSIX managed to get a clean 2-0, while X Magic Boat they had a sort of 2-1. It was a bit of a rough thing, but Split they took it. Their third map Split they took it in a pretty dominating fashion. So that's going to be an exciting matchup today. And I think the match number 2 is going to be Mad versus BMG on this substream, and that's going to be a lower bracket elimination matchup. So whoever loses in that, well, they're going to lose their chance at not only this LCQ tournament but also a spot at Elite. So, what do you think about it so far?
I mean, definitely the lower brackets, there's so much more stakes right there, right? But that's not the game that we're going to talk about right now. Right now, we're going to talk about the upper brackets matchup between X Team Bo and Basis 6 here. And as you mentioned, X Team Bo, they did go 2-1, which wasn't like as clean as Basis 6, but I do think they do have a couple of really, really strong players. I did note, I think it was Snow who was doing pretty well on the race on the first map, I believe. And I think there are a few notable players to look out for as well, such as Snow on the Jet and Raze mainly. But on the other side of the server, it's gonna be Basis 6 who won again Madness Zen Esports, who are now in the lower brackets. And their star player look out for is Kit Kat on the Jet. So both these teams, their star players are gonna be duelist players, so it's gonna be a one really interesting matchup here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like yesterday actually I was casting the match for BASISSIX, and on bind KitKat picked up Sky, and you'd think she's a duelist player. She's playing like an initiator. She might not be as cracked as she usually is, but she was the MVP, and not just for that particular map, for the entire series. She's one of the major reasons why they managed to get that clean 2-0 in place. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of those plays coming in from these players here. And like you mentioned, well, Snow is an excellent player. Like, she was phenomenal yesterday across the maps. I think that another player who really deserves credit is Valentine, because I believe that she picked up the Astra on one of those particular maps. I think it was during Split that she went for that Astra pick, and one of the most insane plays I've seen. I think she went 23 and 8 on Astra on Split. So this is insane, considering there was also like a Raze and a KO and a Breach. You expect these to be the more aggressive players, but nope, it was all Valentine. So one of the most versatile players I've seen in this tournament. I think that she's one of the biggest danger signs, which the side of BASISSIX will have to really deal with today, and just figure out how to lock down. Because yesterday they managed to take advantage of the map picks. They really managed to get maps in their favor. Like, they stole Bind away, and after that, Icebox was just their map. It was their dominion. They didn't even let it get all the way to Ascent. They could just shut it down right there and get that 2-0. But I think they're going to be having some trouble doing the same thing today.
I mean, definitely. I do think they might have a more difficult time, as both these teams, they are in the upper brackets for a reason, right? That means they
Hmm.
did beat out their opponents from yesterday. And speaking about map picks, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, because we do have the map picks for this matchup already. The first map is gonna be on Haven. Second map is Icebox, and that interesting fact that you just mentioned, how Basis 6 made Icebox kind of their domain. I think it's gonna be a really interesting map here.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact is that BASISSIX, they're a new team that was formed for this LCQ, so we haven't really seen them play Haven much. But having watched KitKat on her old team Aresta play on Haven, she seems pretty confident. So I think, despite this being their opponent's map pick, I think that BASISSIX still have a pretty decent chance, if they play their cards right, to be able to steal it away from under them. But the third map is what really interests me, because it's going to be Ascent that's coming up. And you know this is a map where X Team Bo, if you look at it statistically, they they seem pretty good. They don't seem very comfortable on it. In fact, out of the 5 times that they've played it so far, they've only won it once. So if they let Icebox slip out of their hands and it goes all the way to Ascent, I don't really fancy their chances here, Grimmy.
I mean, this might be a really interesting match that we have here. I mean, okay. Uh,
No, I feel you. I was speechless as well when the vetoes came through because when you're that weak on a map, I would wonder why you wouldn't
yeah.
ban it.
I mean, to be fair, they did ban out Fracture and Breeze, which Breeze they've played it once and they haven't won it before. And Fracture I don't think they've played it before at all. So maybe Ascent is slightly more comfortable as compared to these two maps.
Perhaps, or they're just so confident that they'll get their 2 that they don't care about the third map. I don't know though. I've seen after watching BASISSIX play on Icebox, I am terrified of them. Like I would not want to go up against them anytime soon on that particular map because Madness Zen they understood that yesterday. I think the final score was 13-4, and it was a dominant performance. Like two players in particular stood out. Both Senderi and KitKat did a phenomenal job. Senderi on the first map yesterday on that Astra, she was great utility wise, but on Viper, man, she woke up. She managed to really get a lot of impact in. Her lurks were high quality. You know, you'd expect a Viper player to be playing lineups and clutching out their own, but nope, she was right there on the front lines, and of course, KitKat and Angela as well on that chamber as well as that jet. Let's take a look at their entire lineup to see to like recap as to what exactly they like playing and how well they play it. So of course, like we mentioned, KitKat star duelist player is so comfortable on that jet, and she is the tip of the spear, especially on these attack rounds. She was the reason why BASISSIX were able to close it out 13-4 yesterday. Senderi, their dedicated controller, pretty insane there. Angela as well on that chamber, very very consistent, especially when she gets that operator in her hands, and she's willing to run it on both attack and defense. So that's another plus that goes in their favor. And of course, we don't talk enough about Miguel and Felcha, but both these players as well, they make up a backbone. When you do have a team, you do have your star duelist, but they can only function if the backup is right. And I think all the players on BASISSIX, they do their role extremely well. Their utility usage is on point there.
Yeah, definitely so. And I do think uh we have the players on the other side of the lineup on the other side of the server X Team Bo. It is gonna be Interbell, Olulu, Snow, VK, and Valentine. A couple of star players that you already mentioned, Snow and Valentine. Snow on the duelist role, and Valentine on that Astra that you mentioned going really insane yesterday. But not to forget the rest of the players. Olulu, who's kind of more of a flex player, I believe, and VK and Inter as well.
Yeah, definitely a lot of flexibility in this team, like you mentioned, because Interbell, she plays controller, but she also is willing to pick up that Killjoy. Valentine, like I mentioned, I think yesterday she played Chamber, Sova, and Astra. So three very, very different agents that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, but she played them all really well. And I think that one thing that really works out well for X Team Bo is that they're not afraid to get aggressive on maps that they're comfortable with. Like yesterday on both Bind and Split, we saw a lot of that play coming in, and it paid off huge for them because both of those maps, they were able to shut it down with a very convincing score. But yeah, back to the map picks. I'm very worried about Ascent because yesterday they won 2-1 against Black Magic, who are now in the lower bracket. So the fact that it was a 2-1 scoreline and the fact that Ascent was the map they lost, and they lost it like 5-13, which is not exactly ideal if you're going to be playing that as a decider. So I'm kind of not fancying their chances on Ascent just because of that. Apart from that, though, I think it's going to be a really, really fun game coming in from both of these teams, especially on Icebox. I want to see what exactly X Team Bo is going to be pulling out of their hat to be able to keep up with BASISSIX on a map like Icebox there.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, let's talk about agent select predictions here. What do you think we're gonna see?
For Haven, I don't think we're gonna see anything out of the ordinary for either of these teams. Haven is a map where I think the last 4 or 5 times that X Team Bo have played it, it is their map pick. They haven't really messed around much with the agent composition, so they do like going in for that Jet as their primary duelist. They go in for a double initiator combo, which is usually the Breach and the Sova. They do sometimes run that Fade instead of the Sova, but the last 3 times they've played and they've won, they've mostly run the Sova. So yeah, we'll be seeing the double initiator, either the Fade or the Sova, but they love running that Breach, and it works out really well for them. And of course, their controller of choice is Astra, which is something that is seeing more and more value both in the game changer circuit as well as internationally. I think the utility kit that Astra brings is just very powerful, especially if you're running like high info agents like both that Fade and the Sova, or even the Breach. If you're gonna concuss in one area and pull with the other, you're gonna be able to clear out a lot of area, especially on a map like Haven where the sites you can clear out the site entirely by using 2 or 3 key pieces of utility. So I think that they bring a lot of value to X Team Bo here. What do you think about BASISSIX comp though? Like, what would you predict?
On the side of Basis 6, I honestly I'm not too sure. I think we're gonna see a Jet once again, which is honestly pretty interesting to me because I feel like we do see the Raise Fate combo on Haven more
Oh yeah.
nowadays, just because of the Seas and the Pain Shells. They just go with each other so well. But I don't think they're gonna pick up the Raise this time around unless they choose to surprise me.
I mean, I would love seeing Rays like you mentioned, because a lot of these pro teams are willing to run this combo where they throw a siege towards main, and they also do it with the breach as well. So Rays, Fate, and breach are like the holy trinity of aggressive play styles on Haven right now, and it would be nice if we could see that. I definitely agree with you there. So it could go either way. I think if you are going to be running that jet, you're going to be more willing to compromise and possibly not run the chamber. But seeing that we are still playing on the previous patch where the chamber nerfs haven't kicked in and the neon buffs haven't come in, I don't think it's like we're gonna be seeing a huge drop rate in chamber quite yet. But up for at least for the upcoming elite series or for other tournaments, I'm really excited to see what's gonna be happening to my boy Chamber, because man, they did him dirty with those nerfs.
I mean, even though he got those nerfs, I don't think he's completely out of the picture right now because he just brings he still brings a lot of value as compared to maybe a Killjoy or a Cypher, because with Chamber, with that utility, you have more flexible playstyle in the sense that you can go aggressive as compared to maybe a Killjoy where your utility is really more reactive, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And further on a map like Haven, Killjoy, the lockdown is really good. But if you know your opponent team is going to be running a breach, well, that's not going to be flying, because all it takes is one 150 credit aftershock to take out an entire 8 credit ult, or sorry, 7 credit ult. Lockdown is still 7, my bad. So yeah, that's not a good look, because you try, you get a couple of kills, you get those autos, you farm up an ultimate, you put it down, and in the 8 seconds it takes for that lockdown to kick in, that aftershock comes in and destroys all your hopes and dreams. And the thing is, on Haven, there's not really a spot where you can pop the lockdown that it's not gonna be broken, because the aftershock, it can go through walls, it can go through anything. It's insane. So I don't think the Killjoy finds as much value for that reason, as well as the fact that she's an extremely localized agent. So if you're putting your setup on A or B, you're gonna have to be playing around that area. Quick rotations, or it's gonna take time for your utility to come back. You can't take your nanoswarms back, for example. So a lot of complications in playing Killjoy. She still does get some love because you do have both the alarm bot and the turret, which can give you quite a bit of information. But apart from that, I don't think so. Like Chamber, there's a reason why Chamber is seeing so much success. It's not just because he's basically a duelist, but it's also because of the fact that he does give you enough information. Like you put that alarm bot towards garage, that's one more area that you don't have to watch, and you can concentrate on buffing up those sites, A and C in particular. So yeah, I think we're most likely are going to be seeing a Chamber no matter what.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Just because of that one trademark, he's just able to lock down one area of the map, giving you more manpower to put on maybe the A side or the C side. So he's a really strong pick here. But in terms of controllers, what do you think we're gonna see? Yeah, I mean, you already mentioned the Astra.
Yeah, so it could. I think we're honestly gonna be likely to seeing an Astra as well, because Sandry did pick it up on Bind yesterday, and it could work just as well on Haven. So I don't think it's a huge issue. But we made enough predictions. Let's take a look at what exactly these players are gonna be picking, because we are heading into map number 1 and Agent Select right now. So it is going to be Haven, like we've already talked about. 3 sides, pretty big map. Double initiators are favored, and let's see what exactly our teams are giving us today when it comes to Agent comp, Scrimmy. I'm kind of excited.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
oh my god,
Huh?
the KG and the breach.
Wait, this is exactly like what we were talking about just now. The Killjoy and the Breach being picked up at the same time. This is very interesting to me.
Yeah, and you were right about that. It is going to be Snow going in for that jet. Angela on the jet as well, which is really interesting. KitKat, in fact, is going to be going for that Killjoy pick, which, I mean, we've seen her on Sky. I'm sure she'll do a great job on Killjoy. That turret is incredibly annoying. But yeah, it's very funny that the first pick that gets locked in is going to be Olulu on the breach, and of course, the Killjoy coming in for KitKat. But like I mentioned, it seems like X-Team Bo, they're not really going to be messing around much. It's the comp that's been working out for them so far. They have a pretty good win rate, 70%, I think, think, if I'm not wrong, and they really don't want to muck around with that too much, so they're not going to be changing much when it comes to Asian comp. But I like that they're running a Fade. I like that they're running a Fade and a Killjoy together because Killjoy, you tend to center on these lurk plays, so you really want an aggressive initiator that can help you push and Fade with their Prowlers as well as the rest of your kit. It's perfect for that.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there. Fade versus Sova, very interesting kind of contrast in initiators, because with the Fade you do get that more of the aggression, but with a Sova you have a lot more information that's able to be gathered, especially with that owl drone and recon dart as well.
Exactly. Heading into this particular map, though, it seems like the seaside is going to be the first point where the attackers, BASISSIX, are going to be concentrating, if I'm not wrong. So, I'm sorry, the attackers, X Team Bo, are going to be concentrating. You can see the setup from the defenders that they're going for a 4-stack in A, which is very interesting. It seems like they want to get a bit aggressive, and of course, with the Killjoy playing towards that C and be holding down Garage, it's going to fall down to KitKat. She has to be able to hold down this Garage if this A push is going to find any kind of value.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there. I think that's a comparison between Chamber and Killjoy, because Killjoy has actually two pieces of utility that's able to gather information with that turret and the alarm board, whereas Chamber only has the trademark. But as I say that, it seems like the attackers, X Team Bo, they're gonna be heading right into C. It's a 4-man flank coming in from the back though, so I wonder how they're gonna deal with that.
Yeah, this is just gonna be a full 5-on-5 retake right now. KitKat has managed to maintain control of Garage, so everybody else can safely be able to go for the flank after clearing that out. That Prowler already getting so much info, and off the back of that Sender, he's gonna be able to shut down VK. It's all down to Snoke here to try and take out as many as she can, but she's only gonna be able to find one. So it's gonna come down to a 3v4. KitKat has to hold the line here because it seems like the remaining 3 players are gonna be pushing her as aggressively as they can. A few missed shots are gonna make things very, very difficult right now for the players from X Team Bo here. Just one left, and even as she upgrades to a Ghost, it's gonna be the shutdown from BASISSIX. That aggression paying off huge there. I really like what they did, you know. They knew that nobody was towards A and mid. Garage was clear, KitKat, and they were able to like check it together with the pincer movement, and after that they just all go for the flank. That is phenomenal. That's great. It works out for them fantastically.
Yeah, I mean, on the side of X Team Bo though, I do think the position of where the spike was planted was pretty good as well, because it's actually planted for CT, where most of the players headed into after recognizing that, oh, there's maybe not really many players coming in from the CT side, so they took their map control because they knew they were about to lose C Long to the players of BASISSIX. But coming into the second round, the players of BASISSIX, they're gonna be able to buy up 4 Spectres and a Marshall on their side.
Yeah, and that's gonna be pretty valuable for them because especially those marshals when you're playing against players without armor, it's gonna be huge. And it's interesting to see that the side of X Team both they're not gonna be forcing in. They're happy to wait it out patiently. And of course, like you usually see on these anti-eco rounds, the attackers like to go in for this B hit because at least it makes it relatively easy to get the spike plant down. Angela, though, in the meantime, already finding value with that Marshall getting the first pick on the board yet again. So it seems like they are still looking at B as a very viable option. They have managed to at least bait out a lot of the Killjoy utility. There's no there's still a turret to deal with. Oh no, that has fallen back as well. So at least they managed to get the site here. This Frenzy trying to get that kill, but KitKat will be able to shut down not one but 2 players already. She won't be able to get a third though, so the spike, if they're not careful, the spike might go down, but it's not gonna matter because Miguel gets on the cleanup job here. Two to her, one with the aftershock. Oof.
I don't think X Team Bo should have pushed towards KitKat right there, because in this round, what you really want to do is try and get as much value out of it in terms of economy. And because they didn't get the spike plant down, it's kind of 300 credits lost to them, as well as the fact that I think Olulu, she was taking that fight on her own onto KitKat, so I don't think that was the best play right there. But coming to this next round, X Team Bo, they are going to be able to afford rifles, all Vandals on their side.
Yes, and I'm glad that they finally managed to get that in gear. With that upgraded buy, they should be able to have a better time at least being able to take these fights head on. But look at this push coming in from BASISSIX. Yet again, they are completely willing to take control of this A lobby here. There is the breach from the opponents waiting for them. She's aware of the possibility that this might be the case, but luckily for BASISSIX, they know where their boundaries are. They're not going to be getting overtly aggressive. They're just pushing up. And if the side of X Team Bo do plan to come to the the A side, they are going to be able to take those fights in a comfortable range, because specters work so much better when you're in someone's face. They just melt people. So I think that is going to be the advantage. And I also like that X Team Blue, they're not rushing it. They know that they're probably going to end up going to C because of the advantage that these rifles really managed to give them. And yep, that's going to be the cue for KitKat to probably call in for the cavalry to come in the rotation.
No charges left.
Patience coming in, but Snow's already on the side. KitKat trying to hold down what she can, but Snow is the one who finds the first two picks already. KitKat and Felchi, they both fall to her.
30
And
seconds left.
with that, X Team Bo to get control of the site.
Spike planted.
And now we're looking at a 3v5 retake, a very rough position because all the post-plan positions are almost impeccable right now. Already Senderi spotting out one player. They spot each other, in fact, and I like that they're not taking these fights. They're content to let the players from BASISSIX walk into these crossfires, and Senderi gets one, but that's going to be all that she finds as we look at a very, very good attack round finally coming in the first round for X Team Bo, and an almost flawless one to boot. So that's going to be very good for their economy at the very least. Looking at the ultimates available, though, several players are pretty close to theirs. Interval, for example, if she can get one of those ultra orbs, she's going to be able to have the Hunter's Fury for post plants. And on the opposite side, well, everybody is just 2 or 3 kills away, so if they do manage to get a couple of frags, then we might be looking at some ults that come online as and when the round is progressing. Though BASISSIX, this is their full buy. They have to kind of capitalize on this, otherwise their economy is going to go back into the dumpster.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you right there. X Team Bo, this is the first rifle round that's coming out from both these teams, so if Interbell can get that Hunter's Fury online, it could be the round changer right here that gives them their second round on the board. But it seems like they're gonna go in for a default this time around. Snow just kind of clearing out the corners, and Interbell as well with that owl drone.
Yeah, they're taking it slow, and I kind of appreciate that because you really want to be able to methodically check out your corners and cross your T's and dot your I's before you really get into a site. They are going to be spotting a player towards heaven, but apart from that, they're still willing to really push in here. And I believe that BASISSIX is going to be playing on a full retake, which makes sense because they have their entire breach utility kit. They also do have Felcher's utility. They have everything necessary for the information that they need to try and make this retake work. They just have to be methodical about it because they're gonna really need that to try and break these crossfires heading into this particular thing. Both concusses coming out at the same time, one kill being found off each of them. Finally, though, the Cosmic Divide, that's going to be invested right now from Valentine. And off the back of that, Snowcase is able to really do some damage here. Pulls out the knives, but is not able to connect them as Felcher shuts her down. 2v2 right now, but that's why you need to clear your corners here. Because if you don't, VK is going to do exactly that to you. And that's going to be the second round right now for X Team Bo. And I think that's going to leave the economy of BASISSIX in some despair right now.
I think that was a really, really well-timed Cosmic Divide coming out from Valentine. As soon as she got that pickup, she just dropped it, and that just made it so much harder for the side of BASISSIX to come and go in for this retake. And we even see Senderi trying to clear out the corner for a little bit, knives a VK, but it just didn't do enough damage to clear it out. And Felcha, she's just gonna run into the crosshair of VK right there.
Yeah, the timing was a bit unfortunate. I think that before Senderi could clear it out, I think Felcher pushed ahead. But already the Hunter's Fury is being invested on this eco round to try and get an early pick here. And it's going to find Miguel also does some damage to KitKat, so that is a good ultimate that they managed to find a lot of value of. They also know that there is at least one or two more players towards the C side, so they know that A is looking probably a much more clearer, and that's exactly why they're going to be heading there. It's all down to just Senderi here. She does have that Bucky, and yesterday with this Bucky, she managed to find quite a bit of value. Again, she's able to get 1-0 days before she's able to reposition, so that is very, very good right now for the side of these players from BASISSIX. But in the meantime, though, on the opposite side of the map, it does seem like the players are falling like flies. So I don't know. It's gonna be a 3v4 right now for the side of BASISSIX on this eco.
Yeah, numbers advantage in favor of X Team Bo right now as they look to set their sights on the C side. But Angela is the one who finds that pickup with the Sheriff onto Interbell. Felcher trying to go aggressive here with the Prowler, which is gonna get caught out by Valentine.
Oh no. a 3v2 right now. Both of these players, Senderi and Angela, have managed to pick up these guns. Senderi is only able to find one, but Angela's going to bring it back to a 1v1 right now. She doesn't have the dash anymore. Seems like she wants to go around, but the timing for these players is looking so difficult. Angela with the dash triggered. If she dashes out, she might be able to catch this Jet off guard, but she doesn't even need to do that because all she needs to do is peek, and she's able to get that pick. 3 kills to her name, 1 with the Sheriff and 2 with the Vandal that she managed to pick up, and that's gonna be the Thrifty coming through right now for BASISSIX, and a phenomenal round. Both Senderi and Angela going absolutely huge there.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there, especially with the Hunter's Fury invested on the side of X Team Bo. To just kind of fall to these sheriffs is not really what you want to do right there. You see it once again, Valentine's just gonna get caught out in the open by Senderi, and Angela once again with this aggressive play able to capitalize off of it. 3 kills to her name, winning out that what seemed like an almost a really unlikely round to go in their favor, and they managed to pull it off.
Yeah, that was a great round coming in from them, and off the back of that, they have all of their ultimates ready, Grimmy. They have everything in the kit. They have the Rolling Thunder, they have the Nightfall, you name it, they have it at this point. For the opposite side, it is gonna be VK investing that tour de force, watching C Long. If anybody decides to peek a little bit too much or gets their jump peek wrong, they're gonna be paying for it. And it seems like Sentry is aware because she's not gonna really get too aggressive or cocky here on the C side. In the meantime, though, the spike is yet again making its way towards this A area. They already have managed to make their way into the lobby at the very least, and with the help of the drone, I think that they will be able to clear out short. But everybody's 4 players from the side of X Team Bo. They're heading towards long here, and with KitKat playing this close angle, I'm kind of scared. Oh
Ooh,
no.
what a combination of utility right there coming in for both KitKat and Miguel. Once the alarm bot was triggered, KitKat swung off it along with the flashpoint coming in from Miguel, and they were able to capitalize off of that by getting 2 kills. That completely shuts down the offense, the attack coming in, the execute coming in for the side of X Team Bo.
Yeah, they still want to hit this A side though because they don't really have the time to go anywhere else. With 20 seconds left of the clock, they either have to make a decision. Do we save our guns or do we still try to go forward? And the answer is they're still going to be trying to take these fights here. Already, KitKat lurking her way over to this corner. 4 to her name already. Just 1 left to find, but Valentine is going to take her down. It's still going to be the round for BASISSIX, but no ways for KitKat, and I think she's going to be disappointed about that. But all things considered, they had 5 ultimates, they didn't use a single one, and they won that round in a very dominating fashion. So that's going to be great for their economy. It's going to be great for everything else considered. I wouldn't say the same for X Team Bodo, because I think off the back of that, it's going to be their turn to go in for that eco round here.
I mean, I really like that they switched up KitKat's positioning and her utility usage in that round as well. The alarm bot just to catch 2 players off guard on the side of X Team Bo was phenomenal.
That is the case, and again, VK leading the charge here. She does have that headhunter, a bit of key utility, but it seems like BASISSIX are prepared for this push coming in on the C side area here. They do manage to get 2 already somehow, both Olulu and Intrabel finding a tremendous amount of value. Senderi, though, in the smoke, she might be the piece to watch out for, but she's only able to find 1 before she goes down. It's a 2v3 right now, numerical advantage towards X Team Bo here, but that Rolling Thunder, it's gonna shake things up quite literally as they go forward. Angela, though, however, she pulls out the Blade Storm, but it's not going to be enough because it's X Team Bo already shut down both of these players, and the Operator was invested in. They used the ult as well, but it's not going to matter because X Team Bo still managed to hold strong, and somehow Angela, despite being hit by that breach ult, she manages to connect that extremely clean headshot onto the Jet there. So that is very, very good. I'm sorry, Snow being hit by that out, she still manages to connect this headshot on Angela. So that is huge coming in right now for X Team Bo. And I feel like every time there's a thrifty round that goes, that like succeeds for the team in the eco, it's great. But right now we have 2 operators online. Angela and Vicky are both going to be running it. So I'm interested to see who's going to find the better of each other.
Definitely so, and they're actually almost looking at each other on towards A lobby, but on the other side of the map, it is Interbell who's going to be spotted. Vicky does win that operator battle against Angela, though, but Sentry, she's going to trade right back their numbers advantage.
Yeah, and it seems like yet again they want to go for the C push, but look at the position of these players from the side of the defense here. Three of them have made their way down towards long, but it seems like it's a plan change. In fact, they are going to be heading towards this B side instead to get the plant, and that's an excellent call from the side of the IGL of X Team Bo, because B side, well, it was free for the taking. They do still have 3 ultimates to work with. They have the Nightfall as well as they do have the lockdown. I think that the aftershock is still available though for Lulu, so they're gonna have to be very careful about where exactly they do invest this particular ult. Already the Haunt coming through, trying to spot out these players, not finding any information, but the Nightfall is going to detect several players here. The aftershock has been committed, and that's gonna let the lockdown come here. So they have to get out of B site or push them before anything else happens. Pocha finds one, but that's gonna be all she finds. It's all down to Senderi in this 1v3. Gets one, but there's no time. She tries to stick it. She has enough time.
Was that their best? How embarrassing.
I mean, that was really close, honestly. And I think even though that the lockdown was committed without the aftershock being able to kind of without Lulu's aftershock there to kind of counter against it, that aftershock was really good in denying that push coming in from mid, because off the back of that Nightfall, it means the players of BASISSIX, X Team Boat are gonna be kind of decayed, right? And deafened as well, so they don't really have that information, and that aftershock just bought them so much time to be able to try and recover off the back of the Nightfall.
Yet again, it's another half fight right now for the side of the players from BASISSIX though. The Cosmic Divide making it incredibly difficult for them to really find any kind of value, because all their guns, they're not going to get through it. So with that Cosmic Divide, they're going to be able to get the Spike plant for free. They do have the control of the entire site as well. Only Snoka is going to be remaining on site here, and they're going to be trying to take her out as much as possible. She's playing a very dangerous game in this close corner. Either she's going to find tremendous value, or she's not going to find much here, because she doesn't know where to look. But they don't clear her out. They don't check that corner, and it's all down to just one player in this garage area who's gonna be shut down by Valentine, who gets 3 on the round. And yeah, you should always clear your corners. We've said that a million times before, and this is exactly why, because otherwise Snoke is gonna just delete your team casually, just like that. Oh no.
And that's gonna force a timeout, actually, I believe. Or is this a technical difficulty?
I think it's a timeout, because everything's gone gray. If it's technical difficulty, it's still like colorful.
There's no timeout timer though. Oh,
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. So it's actually a good call that they call for a timeout, because this is BASISSIX full buy. They've lost like the last 2 rounds. They need to reconsider their strategy. Right now, they were able to deal with X Team Bo when they were playing really slow and defaulting quite a bit. But now that they've turned the W key on, Paper Rick style, I believe, they're not able to really hold on.
I'm kind of mesmerized by this flipping knife here.
Hypnotic, isn't it? That's why so many people like it, I suppose.
Okay, honestly, if this animation was on another knife with like effects, is a cop.
I agree. What do you think about the new Reaver?
I love it. I didn't buy it though, but I've been thinking about it for days now. Just looking at the spinning animation of the knife is just so mesmerizing.
I feel that, like, I'm not a big fan of the Karambit myself, but the Reaver knife in particular has something to it. Anyway, though, it is going to be Angela who is pushing off the back of that flashpoint, already finding Inchball there. That's going to be no solo. That's going to be no drone and no recon available right now. As they make their way, they take a quick decision to pivot towards this A side instead, but there's no one else here apart from their old and ancient nemesis, none other than KitKat. Already, you're going to see Snowflake being able to push in and get that pick, because the Breach Conquest was just perfect. KitKat's utility not really finding much value, doing no damage in fact to any of these players from the side of X Team Bo. And we're looking at a full 4-on-4 retake, but look at the positions right now. Snowkey is holding a very aggressive angle, and there's no backup from the graffiti area, so that's gonna make things a bit rough as they try to hold this crossfire.
They do have the Cosmic Divide to work with though here, BASISSIX, but Snow is the one who finds that first pick. Miguel is there for the trade, but the numbers are going in favor of BASISSIX right now, as Miguel actually picks up 3 in a round to secure it.
Yeah, I question their decision for everyone to play on site. Like, I understand that their opponents did have a cosmic divide, but if you're going to be playing on site, you need to be able to hold those crossfires, which is what I think yesterday. And I think we did see some Haven coming in from Extend Sapphire, and that's exactly why they were able to convert so many of these rounds. Even when it was a 2v5 or a 3v5, they were able to win it quite convincingly, and that's just because they were able to hold these key crossfires, which X Team Bo, they don't really seem interested in investing in. This time around, though, they do have two key ultimates back. They have Lulu's Rolling Thunder as well as Interbell's Hunter's Fury. And the last time that Hunter's Fury was popped, she managed to find 1.5 players to her name. I say half because they did tag a player but didn't manage to get them down. So that is huge coming in. Already you see Angela getting aggressive, but trigger happy, and yet again that Hunter's Fury being invested. This time around, it tags it tags Felcher this time, but it's not going to be able to find any kills. So that's a bit unfortunate because that's a really huge ultimate. If you're going to be investing it, you want to be able to find sure value of it.
Yeah, especially if you're going for kind of a blind ultimate right there. And right now, I think so far, Angela, she's been trying to get a little bit aggressive because I don't think just holding down these sites has been working out for BASISSIX. So in the previous round and even in this round, you see Angela trying to go a little bit aggressive, trying to find that first pickup for her team just so that they can get the numbers advantage.
They are going to be making their way into the seaside, and Felcher is going to be forced off this site because, well, she can't really hold it alone, especially with the utility being spammed at her. With that, the spike will go down, and we're looking at a full 5-on-5 retake already. VK, though, on the lurk, able to find two somehow as she takes down both Senderi and KitKat. Angela is on the flank, but I think she expects that VK might be playing somewhere here. The backup is here, though, because Snow is here just to back the chamber up, and off the back of that, things are looking much more difficult right now for the side of the BASISSIX players. They have to clear out this infestation towards this mid and garage area, but they're not finding any success right now. It's just Felcher left in a 1v5. She manages to take down Interbell, but that's gonna be it because it's gonna be round number 6 for XT Bo, who on their map pick are looking quite comfortable on this attack. But the thing is, this is their attacking half, and their comp is a very aggressive comp. So I don't know how much, if they're gonna be able to have the same amount of success on defense. They have to be very careful about it. They need to get the next round as well, ideally.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there. For X Team Bo, the best they should be able to get this advantage, especially with 4 ultimates at the ready.
You want to play? Let's play.
Tour de Force immediately going to be popped by VK right there. And on the other side of the map, they do have a couple of key ultimates to work with as well if they do choose to go in for this retake. But I don't think that's the call for them right here. Oh, Lulu going to catch Senderi right in window. That's the first pick going the way of X Team Bo already. Oh, Lulu trying to go in aggressive once again. Picks up the second kill, and Interbell finishes up the third one onto Felcher.
Very quick execute coming in. It's just gonna be Miguel and KitKat, but Miguel in this garage area. They could be huge here. Only one though before player gets taken. I'm sorry, KitKat only finds one though before she gets taken out. It's all down to just Miguel. A 1v4 situation does have her entire utility kit, does have that Rolling Thunder available. Ooh, she manages to find one. Interval goes down right for the taking here, and off the back of the Rolling Thunder, she's gonna have to push in because to her benefit, she has managed to hit all of these players, and the concussion is perfect. But the counter ult is also ready, so that's gonna be her thrown right back as these players, they know exactly where she's coming from, they know where to look, and they're just gonna be watching the same angle, waiting for her to really come out. 3 players waiting to take her out, and it's gonna be Valentine who finds that kill. 7-5 right now as X Team Bo, they take the lead in this half. And I apologize for saying Snowflake. It was the heat of the moment. I read Snowkey as Snowflake. I'm just gonna keep saying Snow right now, so that's my bad. I'm really sorry. Anyways,
as you did mention, X Team Bo, they do have a pretty aggressive team comp, so I guess we have to see how they fare on the defense. Will they be trying to go in for these aggressive picks with the Jet and Breach combination alongside that chamber rendezvous as well, because this is the pre-nerf chamber as we talked about, right? So they still have a lot of opportunities to be able to convert off of playing more aggressively on the defense here.
Yeah, definitely. Like we saw it the last time around coming in from the players of BASISSIX themselves. Like you saw their push on C Long, how they were able to use that flashpoint as well as that stun to get some control. Angela was able to pop in, get that kill, and pop back out. So that's something that really went well for the side of BASISSIX on at least one or two rounds. But X Team Bo, if they want to pull off the same thing, they're gonna have to be very methodical about it because that play only works like a few times. If you saw how after that round, you saw how many rounds X Team Bo were willing to wait outside a side to see if any pushers were coming through. So the timing of that has to be really perfect. But I think the one thing that does go in their favor is that they have a Chamber and a Jet. So that's two players with get out of jail free cards available. So they can get as aggressive as they want. And if they feel like they're getting overwhelmed or if they're flashed or hit by utility, they can just get back to safety. So that kind of overextension, it's gonna be viable for them because of the agent comp that they're running right now.
I mean, I'm glad you mentioned the Jet and Chamber as well because both their ultimates are actually ultimates that work well in favor in terms of economy as well. So especially on this defense, you don't really have the luxury of getting that spike plant down and that 300 credits advantage just by getting that plant down. This is going to be very, very useful for them.
I agree, and of course, the extra money always helps. But more than that, I think that X Team Bo, what I saw yesterday from BASISSIX was that they were incredibly good on their ultimate management. Like a lot of the times, you would see one particular player who was always planting the spike or farming those ult orbs, and they were able to get those ultimates online very very quickly. So if they can do something similar that we saw from their performance yesterday, it's gonna be huge for the side of BASISSIX. And anyway, they on this in this half they're going to be switching over to the attacker side. They do have quite a bit of utility that they can afford to play post plant with. They have the nano swarms. They also have the aftershock if they plant in the right spots. So that's going to be going in their favor as well. It seems like this time around they want to pull the same strat book that X Team Bull pulled out, which is heading towards the C site. And they have to deal with both the Sova as well. Never mind, they're going to be heading for the B side instead, and it's a great call because it's completely empty. There's just one trademark here. The Chamber watching, of course, from this particular corner, but not going to be able to find much value as Angela manages to dash into their face, gets two already before finally being shut down by Snow here. Snow, though, forced to fall back with that reload, and it seems like the site is open for the taking.
The recon that does manage to tag out 3 players, though Snow converts off the back of that Sendary falls, but Felcher is there for the trade. Numbers advantage right now in the favor of BASISSIX as they head towards the A side, able to get that spike plant down.
Yeah, the spike has been planted, but Felcher has only 10 HP. All it's going to take is one stray bullet to be able to take her down. Already she's in the point of contention here, and yep, immediately tapped out, taken out of the game. Miguel finds one though with the classic, has to go in for an awkward reload here, and with only 23 HP left, she's only one bullet away. And I like how KitKat is not really messing around with any of this. She's happy to just wait it out. She has her post-plan utility, she has her setup, and that turret is going to prove to be so valuable, doing so much damage to Interbell right now, and all the post-plan utility still has been triggered. It's going to make sure that Interbell can't defuse it and the clock is running down. KitKat is playing this to perfection here. Almost no time left. All she needs to do is hit one bullet, and she does exactly that right in Interbell's head. With that, we're looking at the round number 6 coming in for BASISSIX, and more than that, they have a very good shot at taking it to 7-7 now.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there. This is a really great combination of utility coming out from the side of BASISSIX because once Angelique tailwind in and found her first pick, the Nebula smoke came through, but that was actually just kind of I believe BASISSIX Sendary just taking it back, and there was a prowler off the back of that as well to try and get Angela in a position to try and go for more kills. And yeah, I think they did really really well in terms of utility usage back there.
It was great, and I think for this time around, it seems like they're going to be getting a bit aggressive, the defense, as they try to find perhaps a pick or two offline. Already, though, KitKat, she's going to be watching the right angle at the right time, able to take out Interbell, but look at the positions of these two players in the window. I don't think the BASISSIX players are aware, and if they're lucky, they might be able to find something, but they're not, because Miguel is going to walk up and be like, hello there, and get both of those kills to her name. It's all down to just Snoker right now. Well, Frenzy to her name. She's playing towards this garage area where nobody else really seems to be coming. They're all just heading for the A side because they know it's empty. And Snoka left in a 1v5. I don't fancy your chances. Do you, Grammy?
I believe in snow supremacy. I mean, I think BASISSIX, they played that really well because you at the start of the round you saw all of them just waiting it out towards the spawn for any aggression on the side of X Team Bo to come through, and that is exactly what they did. And the timing of those two players coming out from X Team Bo to push that window position was just not in their favor, as Miguel, she was able to convert 2 kills off the back of that.
This time around, though, I don't think Snoka is really going to be able to find much value. She did invest in, I think, both light armor as well as this frenzy. So her next buy is looking extremely rough right now. And already you see KitKat ready to take her down as she hears her running towards the A side. I don't know if she was trying to save whatever she had. Like I think that she wanted to save the armor and the frenzy, perhaps. But yeah, economically, she's still going to be able to buy in this round, so it's not too bad. She wasn't trying to save it because she has the eco for it. A full buy yet again coming in for the side of X Team Bo. They've lost both the pistols so far on the map of Haven. A small points I want to know. I like keeping track of how many pistols teams win. But for this bonus round, which BASISSIX are playing, I think they're looking at a very quick hit towards either the B side or the A side, and it seems to be read quite well by the side of X Team Bo because they're not afraid to push on this mid area yet again.
It's definitely through off the back of that fault line. The push is coming through towards mid already, but the side of BASISSIX, they're just kind of gonna wait it out for this aggression of X Team Bo to come through. We already see VK in this very, very forward position.
If anybody jumps down from that window and doesn't clear that, it's going to be very unfortunate because VK also has that rendezvous setup. So she's going to be able to get a pick and just TP back out right there. So they're going to have to be very careful if they are going to be aggressing towards mid already. You see KitKat playing very, very close. If she goes any more forward, they're going to be caught in VK's grasp. But it seems like they're going to be heading towards the C area instead, which is a very, very interesting call because they don't really have the weapons to fight C long. Perhaps that's what they're banking on. They're banking on the fact that X Team Bo would be expecting them to head towards perhaps mid or garage, but instead they're going to be heading directly down C. And it seems like that's a strategy that's going to pay off because there's nobody really watching them from garage or anything. They're going to have some control of the site for free right there. And Intrabel, well, if they're not careful, Intrabel is going to be able to find a lot of value. The smoke comes in at just the right time though, and we're looking at a full 5-on-5 retake as the spike goes down.
I think BASISSIX, they're just trying to play for this retake right now. We see most of the players heading back. Oh, Lulu does find the first pickup onto Angela though. That's the side completely clear, but KitKat, that late lurk is going to be coming through. 4v4 situation right now.
This looks very scary because already the Nana Storms one have been popped. The second one as well that's been invested. So they have to be able to take these players down. KitKat with the upgraded rifle is going to be taken down as well. And it's all going to come down to Senderino 1v4. Valentine's going to hear her coming from a mile away and be able to shut that down. So the bonus does not become a bonus round for the side of BASISSIX. They are gonna be a bit sad about that, but I think it wasn't too bad because they did get the plan. So that's going to be some more money that's going to be bolstering their economy. And more than that, I think they were able to at least take down one player, so it's not a complete waste. Perhaps it could have been a bit better. Off the back of that, they also have the Rolling Thunder ready from Miguel, and Felcher is only one away from that Nightfall. So you've seen both of the ults being used in conjunction. It can lead to absolute pandemonium if people are deciding to play on site, which X Team Bo quite often they're willing to play aggressive on particular sites here. This time around, it's A where it's going to be a 3-stack coming through, and if they're not careful, BASISSIX, they're going to be caught off guard here.
Prowler is going to be stuck in the gravity well for a little bit, but VK, she seems to want to go in for this peek towards a lobby, but she's going to get cleared out by that Prowler. The players of X Team Bo, they recognize that the side of BASISSIX, they do have a Rolling Thunder to work with, so they're not going to be playing on site this time around.
A very smart call, and it seems like they're happy to play for the retake because their retake has worked out. So far, at least, they were dealing against Spectres. This time, they're going to have to deal with rifles, so a bit more caution is necessary. They're just waiting for the Astra smokes to refresh, I suppose, before they really head in. And yep, they're going to be going in off the back of that Rolling Thunder. Flashpoint invested as well, and the site has been taken. The thing is, Sender is somehow going to be able to take down VK. I think that was a spray through the smoke that manages to find some success. Unfortunate for poor VK there, but Valentine's able to take out the lurk, so that's going to be KitKat, who's no longer available. No more post plan, no more lurking that they need to worry about. They can just focus on this A side instead.
Fall line does come through for the side of X Team Bo, and the flashpoint as well. Snow's gonna get stunned up completely. Valentine gonna go in aggressive, peeking towards Sewers right now. Gonna get caught out by Felcher though.
Face your fear! Very, very unfortunate. That ult is being invested as well, but it's not gonna matter because Olulu and Snoka are ready to go for the cleanup interval, getting the last. All three players are able to almost flawlessly take out their opposition here, and the defuse is gonna come through. X Team Bo, they hit 9, and things are looking a little bit desperate right now for BASISSIX because even though the score is only 9-7, they're only 2 points behind. They're looking at an equal round right now, and they invested a lot in the previous round. They used 2 ultimates. They managed to use all their money to really be able to buy guns, and this is a good time for them to call a timeout, not only to break the momentum of the X Team Bow players, but more than that, they need to figure out either this round or the next. They should ideally call a timeout to figure out what they could do better.
And as you mentioned, BASISSIX, they only have sheriffs to work with this time around, so Angela, she's not gonna be afraid to try and get into an aggressive position to capitalize off of the back of that Prowler, but it seems like, once again, BASISSIX, expecting aggression coming to come in from the side of X Team Bo.
I mean, it's a good expectation. They have proven that they're more than willing to take the fight to the attackers, but this time around, they know that they're dealing with the lower buy here, and I think that they have a healthy respect for both Angela Sherp as well as Sendery's Bucky. This time around, there's no Bucky for Sendery, but yes, they have a healthy amount of respect for these players, and they really don't want to mess around too much. Interbell with that drone is going to be spot out, being able to spot out at least 1 or 2 players towards this mid area here as they made their way towards Garage. But apart from that, map control from the side of these players for BASISSIX, it's almost non-existent right now. You do see Snowflake periodically clearing out C. I think that she spotted a hint. No, she hasn't yet, but she might very soon. Yep,
Oh,
that's gonna be the
there
spot
we go.
coming through. There you go.
He does
30
spot out
seconds left.
Miguel lurking right outside of C. Seems like they're gonna be heading onto C side with 20 seconds left on the clock. Tailwind coming through for both Jets actually, and Snowy's she's gonna even get tagged up through that smoke right there. Spike plant is gonna go down on the C side. Kit Kat even finding one with that sheriff already. So 4v5 situation right now. Angela picks up another kill onto VK, but Isabel and Olulu try to fire right back.
Ooh, that recon bolt is gonna be incredibly important, but poor interval was so low that it is going to be this Kigo coming through just from the nano swarm. Both the ults have been invested, though the lockdown has been popped, but I don't think it's gonna matter for much because the diffuse is just going to be stuck froze on fake, and well, Lulu is gonna get that 1v2 clutch out. All of this being invested here, you know, the lockdown being invested, them finding all those picks, and it's still not gonna matter because Lulu is just gonna be able to brazenly stick out the spike off the back of that cosmic divide. So yep, they did at least manage to bait out the rolling thunder from the side of X Team Bo, but I think this is a round that BASISSIX could have very easily converted if they just been a little bit more proactive.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there, Zach. I mean, they already found so much value off the back of that the sheriffs as well as the shock dart, and it was just really unfortunate for them that I don't think they heard the spiked defuse being tapped as well, because I believe Kit Kat, she still had a nanoswarm on the bomb.
Yeah, she did. The Cosmic Divide really came in huge there. I think that's the both the Cosmic Divide as well as the Rolling Thunder. They really managed to mess up these players because I think that Kit Kat in particular, she thought that she was being pushed to try and take down the lockdown, so she decided to play a little bit more defensively rather than thinking about the spike that could have been diffused. And well, Sandari, the spike wasn't exactly planted for her, so she was able to take down Valentine, but not she wasn't able to really take down Lulu because the angle wasn't right for her. So that's a bit unfortunate. I think we do have some technical difficulties. One of the players is fixing something on their setup. So far right now though, Grimmy, like looking at BASISSIX attack, they are able to get these sites for free, more or less. They're able to get these sites, and they're going into a full-on 5v5 situation where they have to hold while X and Bo tries to retake it, and they're not finding much success. What do you think they can do better?
I do think they really have to try and just try and go for those post plant situations more, or try and go for more of a crossfire rather than just holding down certain angles, because I think a few of the times where they lost the post plant situation was because I think the shots weren't really connecting for the side of BASISSIX, especially that one round where I think Olulu found so much value on the A side coming into this retake. That was a round that BASISSIX could have won, I believe, if those shots and those crossfires worked out, because with the crossfires, you do get trades, which means there's not much of an opportunity for X Team Bo to try and clear all of the players on BASISSIX out.
Yeah, things looking very difficult right now. This technical pause might actually be a blessing in disguise for the BASISSIX players here, because they're gonna be able to really figure out what exactly they can do better. It's like a timeout that they don't have to call themselves. It's a good thing for them, if I can say so. And looking at this is where they have their full buy. This is their last real chance to try and get back into the game without things heading towards the overtime aspect. They're only 3 rounds behind, and if they can pull themselves together, like you mentioned, really focus on holding those crossfires when they're playing on site here. If they're going to be going in for that 5v5 retake, they might be able to figure things out, because this is a team that is pretty good at adapting mid game and figuring things out. At least from what we saw yesterday, they didn't let their opponents run away with them yesterday. It was Madness Zen they were playing against, and if they can get this together, they can keep this from heading into a map number 3. But for that, they really need to figure out what they're doing wrong. And like you mentioned, it can be two things. It can be their post plant positions that could be better, like you mentioned, or more than that, they shouldn't plant until they get a pick or two. If they can get the numbers advantage in their favor, they can afford to play a bit more patiently, a bit more aggressively as well if they choose to. But they need at least some kind of advantage before they get the spike down.
I definitely agree with you right there. But coming into this next round, Interval, she's gonna have that Hunter's Fury at the ready. So this might make things a little harder for the side of BASISSIX to try and go in for even a plant or post plant situations here.
Ooh, but that
Hunter's Fury already being invested off the back of the start of the round, but it seems like the players of BASISSIX, they're going to be heading straight into the B side. So much aggression coming through, but Olulu finds the first pickup with onto Angela. Aftershock to come through as well, and she gets another kill onto Miguel.
that's gonna completely shut down the attack coming in from BASISSIX. And look at this already. You see 2 players who have cleared out C-Long. They know that there's nobody there. They're gonna be playing aggressively. So the players from BASISSIX, they're gonna be sort of caught down towards this mid area in a little bit of trouble, I would say. The spike, though, it's making its way through Garage slowly but surely. That trademark being broken is gonna give away quite a bit of info. Felcha as well, with only 30 HP left, is gonna have to really pull off some miracles to stay alive, but that's not happening. Olulu taking her down on a 3k, on track for the ace, and I think that she's hungry for it. She wants to win out this map in style. Not gonna happen though. It's all down to it's down to nobody, because it's gonna be the backstab that finally kicks in and takes down the 2 players towards the B side. So round number 11 for Extend Bow. I think that BASISSIX will be able to scrape together a buy if they choose to. They also do have Angela's Bladestorm ready, so they might still be able to afford things, but they're gonna have to be very careful about it, because X Team Bow is only 1-2 away from taking this map away, and I don't think they want to let them do that.
Yeah, definitely not. If you lose the first map, you have so much more at stake on the second, because you basically you don't have as much leeway to play with anymore. And I think this timeout is a much needed one for the side of BASISSIX.
Yeah, they really need to reassess things, because as they stand right now, it's less than ideal, is what I would say. 7-11 right now, not looking very good. They do have some ultimates to work with. They have Sendary's Cosmic Divide, and we've seen the kind of value it can have when you're attacking. The last time around, when Extant Bull used it on their attacking rounds, so they were able to win at least 1 or 2 rounds off the back of that. So Sandary might be able to invest that in this particular round as they try to win it, but they're in a do or die position here, Grammy, because they are going to be forcing in. They are going to be able to barely string together a buy. You see some players who only have light. We see a player with only light armor. Angela is going to have to play off the back of her ult, not much else. So it's gonna be a bit dangerous here. They have to win this, because otherwise they have nothing in the next round, and they have to win it with as many players alive as possible.
I definitely agree with you right there, but Snow this time around, she's gonna have that operator in hand, able to find the first pickup onto Angela. Bladestorm invested, but no value found out of it. She does have a tailwind at the ready if she does choose to go aggressive once again, but I don't think she's gonna try to give up the man advantage that her team has right now here.
Yeah, she's still gonna be holding on to the angle as well. So if Miguel is not careful, she's gonna be taken out. But luckily for her, Sender is able to put down a smoke and she's able to get away alive. They want nothing to do with the operator anymore on that A side. They're just gonna be chilling right now towards mid instead, trying to find some value. Already you see KitKat being quite tagged up. I think that some wallbang damage did manage to connect with her, and 48 HP left on her right now, not looking too healthy either. So it seems like they are going to be looking at a C execute possibly. Two players already there, and
Oh.
ooh, the wallbang through that box is going to tag VK up quite a bit.
Seems like they might not want to go in for the C execute though, but his positioning coming in from Valentine, KitKat does not expect it. And
30
oh,
seconds
so
left.
that's another player down on the side of BASISSIX.
3v5 right now, and with 20 seconds left on the clock, they still haven't decided where exactly they want to go. I think that they are looking at a B execute instead, but the Astra is ready for it. Valentine already investing that pull right now. They still try to make their way into side, but Interbell is going to swing off the back of that and take down two for her troubles. VK with the backup and the cleanup, and that's going to be match point for X10 Bull, an almost flawless round. And unless something incredible happens right now for the side of BASISSIX, it looks like X10 Bull are going to be taking this map to its closing state here. It is their pick. It is what they wanted to play, and they're showing exactly why that's the case here, because their defense looks absolutely impenetrable right now. A bare buy coming in for BASISSIX. You see KitKat without any kind of armor, and a Spectre for Angela, so things not exactly in the best place. And Snoka, well, she still has that operator, so I'm kind of scared.
Operator and Blaze Ups in hand. She's gonna go for aggressive peek down garage, but there's gonna be no one there this time around. Miguel actually just one away off that Rolling Thunder, and Cindery, she does have the Cosmic Divide to play with as well. So it seems like it's gonna be an A exit coming in for the side of BASISSIX this time around.
Looks very, very rough right now. At least a spike plant comes through, but yet again, they're in that unenviable situation of a 5v5 retake. They're gonna have to do a lot to try and hold on to it. I think they're just trying to play post plant because Miguel is only one away from the Rolling Thunder, and KitKat, well, she has all of her nano swarms and stuff. Angela ready to swing off the back of that turret here. You see Snowflake pushing forward with the help of that Blade Storm, and even though she has the operator, trying to get these picks here, but not really succeeding. Angela on the smoke, playing as much of a dangerous game as she can. And look at this Interbell. She's just going to be trying to stick the spike here. But the spray coming through is good. Interbell finding two off the back of that Odin here. 2v2 right now, making that a 1v2. It's all down to just Valentine. But the position from Sandari is too good. And BASISSIX, they stay alive in this round. Finally able to hold those crossfires, able to hit those shots, and being able to get those trades, making this round work in their favor. They have figured out the equation. But the question is it too late?
Now look at this lurk coming in from Cindery. Once she got the spike plant down, she ran all the way back through mid, through B, and coming in through CT to try and catch these players off guard. And that was what won them the round, I believe. So I think X Team Bo, they're going to be more wary of that this time around. But on the side of BASISSIX, they have three key ultimates to work with. The Rolling Thunder, the Cosmic Divide, as well as the Nightfall. But Valentine, she's going to be holding this angle with an operator.
They have a double operator as well. Both Valentine and VK do have an operator running, though she's gonna miss as Felcher goes on for a head-on swing. Never mind, she didn't miss. She got the leg shot, I think, and Felcher is gonna be tagged all the way down to 30 HP, but Valentine is gonna be forced to fall back here. Huge kills coming in from these players right now, and the spike will go down, but it's still gonna leave them in a 4v4 situation where it's gonna make things incredibly difficult for them to hold on to it. Already Felcher's position is known, so she's gonna be forced to fall back here, managing to stay alive somehow, and they still do have the operator in question, so they're going to be able to use some utility to try and make sure that these shots connect. You see the Haunts coming through as well, spotting out one player. The smoke spray, though, is not able to connect, and Olulu is still trying to just stick it here. The ult has been invested just in time for the defuse to stop. Already half done, though. Three players left alive, and two of them have an operator, so they can't just afford to dry peek here. Senderi finding one, the ult missing, the Tour de Force not able to connect really, and the clock is still ticking here.
What?
So, it's gonna be Valentine who just tries to save.
That shot by VK was insane. She got stunned up and she flicked. That was insane. I mean, they still have the operator to work with though, so not all is lost for them. They still have a couple of buffer rounds to work with, and that's gonna force the timeout on the side of X Team Bo to come through.
It is, and it's a good call because it seems like BASISSIX have found the answers to the equation. Like, we take sites, but we lose post plant. How do we win it? And they've managed to figure it out. Right now, they've managed to win, I think, two rounds in a row. Off the back of that, they're willing to take these 4v4 or 5v5 situations, and they're able to really play post plant and win it out. I think it's because they realized that X Team Bo is willing to let them. They're willing to play for the retake, so they're not investing too much utility in trying to take these sites. Like the last time around, I think we saw like one concussion coming in from the breach and one flash at top. So the rest of the utility, they're happy to save it for the retake. And both Sandry and KitKat on these lurks, they've been finding so much value.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you right there. The lurks have been coming in key for the side of BASISSIX to try and win out these rounds that are so close to basically giving X Team Bo their map point actually, because in the previous round itself the spike was actually halved and it looks so dangerous for BASISSIX right there.
Thank you.
This time around they are gonna have that lockdown to work with though.
They do, but guess who has their ultimate as well? It's gonna be Intrabel with the Hunter's Fury. So far, she's been popping them. She's been popping them right on the onset of the round. This time, though, she's gonna be opting to hold on, possibly to deny the spike from going down. And Snowk, well, she has the operator online again, so they're gonna have to be very careful if they're pushing into this. But oh no, Snowk is gonna miss. She manages to hold on to her life barely, as she is gonna be forced off the angle with just 35 HP left right now. With that, they're gonna be able to take control of the A side relatively easily, I would say. Snoka, though, she's still playing it a bit cautiously. She's watching these angles, trying to make sure that if anybody gets a bit too forward, they're going to be paying for it. The lockdown invested as well. And I don't think Olulu will be able to really break it unless she manages to make her way a lot forward. I think she's just going to be opting to save the utility instead for something else. VK on the flank, though. This is very interesting. I don't think they're aware of this.
The Alarm is in place, so gets triggered at the right time. KitKat now aware of this flank that's coming through Senderi as well, but the Hunter's Fury is going to come through on the side of X Team Bo. Finds Senderi, KitKat to fire right back onto VK. She expects the second player coming in from the flank, and Angela converts the kill onto Interbell as well. Felcher going in aggressive, picks up the kill onto Olulu, all up to Snow, but what else can you do against Felcher right there? 10 rounds on the board for BASISSIX right now, just holding on to this map that they have.
If they continue playing the same way, we're looking at it overtime, and I feel really bad for Senderi there because she was putting down some smoke. She was probably trying to use the Cosmic Divide, but instead she gets Hunter Furied out of existence. Nevertheless, though, that is going to be a very convincing victory coming through for the side of BASISSIX, and more than that, it's gonna push X Team Bo into a half buy. So they're playing with less than ideal guns when it comes to this particular round. They don't really have any ult either, and off the back of that, it seems like they're happy to get a little bit aggressive towards the C-long area. BASISSIX, though, they're aware of it. They're just doing jump peaks and playing as patiently as they can, while in the meantime, it seems like Extend Bo's... Yeah, this is scary. So they're aware that a push might be coming through, but I don't know if they know Interbo is all the way in their face with a Bucky.
With a Bucky in hand, we've seen Senderi make so much use of the Bucky on BASISSIX's their defensive half already, so Interbell, she's trying to recreate that kind of magic on her own defensive half. Snow gonna get picked off by Senderi, though that's the first pick going the way of BASISSIX.
A very, very clean shot, and that's going to bring the numbers advantage already right now towards these BASISSIX players, as they seem to be willing to make their way towards mid instead. Or is it A? Yeah, it seems like they want to go towards A, but they're going to have to be really careful here because Intrabel, she hasn't moved a muscle. If they go in one by one, it's going to be rough. She finds one, but that's going to be all she gets because Angela, she eats up the bullet, her life goes, but they're able to get the trade. So the numbers advantage still lies in favor of these players from BASISSIX right now. More than that, this A site is completely empty. So they will be able to get the spike down without too much trouble here. 3 players from the side of Extend Bo, 2 on the lurk, 1 holding down towards the CT, trying to make sure that they don't get pushed in. And KitKat is still alive, so the flank info is alive and well. But the point is, she's on the lurk. She had to pull her turret back, so they don't know if anybody's going to be flanking. Olulu already finding Miguel there, bringing things back down to a 3v3. But look at Senderi. She's going to hear all of this noise down towards long here. First pick coming through, second as well. Felcher with the 3K spray from the Vandal will bring BASISSIX to 11, and they just need one more for overtime, Grammy.
What a play coming in from Felcher right there to try and hold down the spike, because all these players from the side of BASISSIX, they were nowhere near the spike once it was tapped, and it was just all up to Felcher. I do think that VK peaked a little too early before that flashpoint came through, but Felcher, she was still able to convert 2 kills even though she got flashed up. So that was insane coming out from her right there. 11 points on the board for BASISSIX already.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a bit of a partial flash, but you're nevertheless right. It was huge, and now it's gonna be X Team Bo who are feeling the pressure instead, because they let BASISSIX win like 4 or 5 rounds in a row. If they lose this one as well, it's gonna be overtime. And Angela, she's managed to get her fingers on that operator as well, so that's gonna make things even more rough for the side of X Team Bo. This is their map pick. They really don't want to lose it, and it seems like there's a possibility that they might if they let BASISSIX run away with the momentum that they have garnered so far. They're of Boulder and free fall at this juncture, Grammy, and they're happy to just wait it out. KitKat, I think she gets spotted out by the drone. Yep, she's gonna be sprayed, but not really finding much in the name of damage here, and she's gonna be repositioning off the back of that. She doesn't really want to take a very risky fight. She knows how valuable her utility is. Ultimate wise, they do have the Nightfall, so that's gonna be something else that's gonna make attacking these sites much easier. The opposite team, though, they don't really have much in the name of util, and Valentine, well, if she peeks out 1 inch more than she should, then she should, that's gonna be Angela who could take her down there, but lucky for her, she doesn't.
I mean, this time around, X Team Bo, they're trying to go in for a more default kind of play here. And 30 seconds left on the clock. No aggression coming in from the side of X Team Bo. So BASISSIX, they have to make a move right now.
I think they heard you, because they are heading towards the site here. VK, she's going to be caught up by this Prowler. Her position is known, but Olulu is still holding strong here. Sandari finally finding one, but Intrabel still trying to hold on here. But unfortunately, the spike, there's no time for the spike to go down. And Valentine, well, all she has to do is stay alive to win this round for the side of XT Bo. And they're going to be able to take their map pick, but it came all the way down to the wire. It was a 1v2, and Valentine managed to win just on time. So what a win for them. They should be feeling very happy, but it got much sloppier than it should have there.
Yeah, that was a very closed final round to try and close out the map right there from X Team, but they do get a window, so that is one map down in their favor already. We're heading towards Icebox as the next map, and you did mention previously that Icebox is basically the playground of BASISSIX, so I'm really excited to see how what X Team Bo have in their what they have up their sleeve to try and deal with this strength coming in from BASISSIX.
I generally don't know, because I was going through their previous comps on Icebox, and I think they've only played the map once in a group stage, and they were running a pretty meta comp. The only change that they really made was they were happy to run a Raze instead of a Jet. So I don't know if we're going to be seeing the same thing really. But before we talk about Icebox, let's take a look at this map's highlights and scoreboards here. The scoreboard here to see which player is going to be the MVP. I think it is going to be Senderi, in fact, for the side of BASISSIX. She put up quite a show here, but Intrabel is going to be the star for X Team Bo. Especially, you know, we talk about her Hunter's Fury. I think she had it 5 or 6 times in the entire game, which is huge considering that she's a solo player. And it's not like you get to farm your ultimate quite often. But yes, 236 ACS to her name, and a lot of valuable info as well as multifrags coming in from her.
I definitely agree with you right there, but you can't forget those lurks coming in from BASISSIX. Senderi and KitKat putting up numbers as well. 250 ACS, that's really high, especially as an Astra player, as a controller player, in fact.
Yeah, she's feeling herself today, and you think that Senderi's Astra is nicer, Viper on Icebox is even better, which is what we're gonna be seeing next. But yeah, Intrabel, I think she's the reason why this map is not going to overtime, because she was able to kill the spike planter and prevent there being enough time for them to really get the spike down and win the round. So yeah, that is going to be huge for her. X Team Bo, they do take their map pick. They do manage to win it 13-11. Sure, it got way closer than it should have. BASISSIX almost made the comeback, but a win is a win. And looking at the statistics here, they have won on everything except objective wins, which is kind of ironic because the last round, the most crucial round, which they did manage to clinch, it was an objective win. But nevertheless, it is going to be them winning out on all the statistics here. Damage, especially, almost more than 2k damage than their opponents. So that's kind of nice, especially considering that the score was like a 13-11.
I mean, coming into this next map, I'm really excited to what both these teams have in store for us, especially after seeing that almost nearly come that close. It was so close, the comeback story, the comeback dream for BASISSIX, and I'm really excited for what these teams have in store for us next.
Yeah, I am too. But before we do that, we're going to be taking a small break because I think both of us really need some water after the excitement of that game. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. This is the LCQ for VCT Game Changers APAC. I'm Zach, and this is Grammy, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back once again to the VCT Game Changers APAC LCQ. My name is Grammy, and once again, I'm going to be joined by Zach after that insane first map coming out from both teams here today. BASISSIX and X Team Bo. What do you think we're going to see for this next map here?
I mean, if that first map of Haven was any kind of indication of what we can look forward to today, well, I think I'm gonna need a lot of water to drink because I think we're gonna be both screaming pretty loud and cheering on both of these participants quite enthusiastically. So yeah, that is Haven down. That is the first map. It was X Team Bo's pick. They managed to win it. It was 13-11. It got a little bit hairy towards the end, but they still managed to win it, which is what counts. So that's 1 point that's definitely going in their favor. But heading into Icebox, I don't really fancy their chances because this is a map which BASISSIX have proven time and time again that it is their favorite map. They're very dominant on it, and they're not messing around here. So that is a map that I think X Team Bo are gonna have to pull out some kind of a rabbit out of the hat or some kind of magic trick for them to be able to take it here. It's an incredibly difficult map for them to deal with because it's BASISSIX's home ground, and they just don't seem like they can lose here. In fact, every single map that BASISSIX have won on Icebox so far, it's been very, very dominant. 13-2. I think yesterday it was 13-4. The most they let it get to is 13-6. So X Team Bo, they're gonna have to do quite a good job here.
I mean, especially seeing what Six tried to pick up during the last few rounds of Haven, I do think BASISSIX, they stand a really, really good chance coming to this next map of Icebox, of just closing it out, bringing it to a 1-1. But I think we will see what X Team Bo have in store for us right here.
I think we will. We are going to be heading into Agent Select pretty soon. But before that, we talked about the map picks before and, the significance of them. And BASISSIX, them picking Icebox, it's their comfort pick. It's what they're really good at. But the decider, like yesterday, it is going to be Ascent. And if it gets that far, I would say that at least mathematically, X Team Bo, they don't have the same record that BASISSIX really has. In fact, on Ascent, they found very little success so far. They've lost to teams like Todak, SMG. I think they lost to an OCE team as well, Kraken, during the group stages of this particular tournament. And even yesterday, they managed to lose to Black Magic, and they lost by a very large margin. In fact, that's the game that sent them to the lower bracket in the first place. So, that's the map that almost sent them to the lower bracket. They did manage to move on today to the upper bracket here, but I think this could be the map that really trips them up if they don't manage to win Icebox. So both Icebox and Ascent are not exactly maps where they're very comfortable on, while BASISSIX, they're very, very happy with them. So the fact that a map which is Haven, the pick of X Team Bo, went that close, I don't think that's a good sign for them heading into this particular one.
I mean, it really comes down to how I believe X Team Bo try and adapt to the playstyle of BASISSIX, right? Because I think they were able to kind of do that in the previous game of Haven itself. Towards the end, BASISSIX did pick it up back a little bit, but on that last round itself, we did see a change in the way that X Team Bo were playing their defense. Previously, they were playing more aggressive, with Snow and VK trying to go in aggressive because they were playing Jet and Chamber respectively, trying to go in aggressive on this defense to try to get that first pick. But on that last round itself, all the players of X Team Bo, they were just sitting on site very, very patiently, holding a default. And as the timer ran down, that is precisely what won them the round, I believe.
Yeah, the timer, it was a 2v1. Only Valentine was left alive, but they couldn't find her in time. They didn't have time to plant the spike, and they couldn't find Valentine either. So it was X Team Bow winning in a very. I need to stop saying X, and I'm really, really sorry. But after casting yesterday's match about them, it's just stuck in my head. So yeah, X Team Bow, they did a really great job in managing to run down that clock. And of course, their SOA player, Interbell, she was the key there because she managed to walk herself into this key corner. She held on for a very long time playing through the smoke. And as soon as that jet smoke went down, she saw the planter, she took her out. End of the story. That's it. That's the round going in favor of X10 Bow and X Team Bow, and that's exactly what they needed to do here. All right, every time I say X Team, X10, I'm gonna just bonk myself. But yes,
I mean, I don't think you have to bonk yourself. You can just like take a sip of water or something.
I think I need it. Yes.
Anyways, I do think we're gonna see some pretty interesting agent compositions coming out on Icebox. What do you think we're gonna see? I mean, Viper is a pretty staple pick on Icebox itself, right? But do you think there are any chances that we'll see a different controller?
I really don't think so because I was going through the comps that both of these teams like to run, and for BASISSIX in particular, they run the most standard Icebox comp in the history of Icebox comps. They don't mess around much, they don't really change anything, and it's been working for them so far. So I'd be very surprised if they do decide to change anything at all. They like to go in for that single duelist jet, double sentinel chamber, as well as Sage. Well, I say double sentinel, but we all know that chamber is not a sentinel. So they also like going in for that Sova and of course the Viper. So not really much to change there. And X Team Bow, they do the same thing except that they like to go in for a raise instead. At least the one time that they've played the map so far, yeah, they like to go in for the raise. So they did manage to win that particular map, which they have won that Icebox map that they played the last time around, but they're gonna have to really hold up strong against the side of BASISSIX here. And actually, I think that they have a shot because looking at their play on Haven, they're quite comfortable on pushing together, being able to get really aggressive, and that might prove to be what they need to break through the Icebox defense, which X Team which X Team need to break through, because BASISSIX, they have a very strong defense, but on attack, if they can somehow shut down KitKat, that's going to be the key for them to be able to beat BASISSIX on their own map and possibly take this 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of agent compositions, I on the international stage we do see more teams going for more of utility-based agents rather than just having a typical duelist or just chamber. As on Icebox especially, I've seen numerous zero duelist compositions on Icebox. So how likely is it that we're gonna see the same here today?
I'll be very honest. I don't think it's likely because I think
Man.
what I would love to. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see some kind of variation, some kind of innovation coming into these comps. But this is the upper bracket semi-final, and the winner of this gets to punch a ticket to the final, where they're only one series away from qualifying for elite. So this is a stage where it's very unlikely that we'll be seeing a lot of risk taking coming in from either of these teams, who do have, at least for BASISSIX, they've proven time and time again that their current comp is something that they're very comfortable with, very strong with. So I don't think that they'll be willing to really change things around. But if they do, I'll be very happy to watch that. Like you mentioned, we've been seeing a lot more of double initiator comps. No duelist, of course, happens quite a bit as well, because everyone's just happy to take that chamber and run away with them as their honorary duelist. That works really, really well. So it's pretty interesting to see that kind of thing. But I think we are going to be having a short break before we head into the game, though. So don't go anywhere. We'll be heading right into Icebox just as soon as we're back. Welcome back, everyone. We're gonna be heading into map number 2 of the series between X Team Bow and BASISSIX right now. We're gonna be heading into map number 2 Icebox, and we've discussed the possible agent compositions and what exactly we can expect from these teams. But now we're gonna be seeing whether our predictions were exactly right, because we're heading into the frozen tundra right now, Grammy. And do you have chills down your spine? Because I do.
I've never noticed that samurai suit thing in Icebox. I'll be honest. That's the once I saw it on the screen, I was like, wait, does that exist on the map?
It's Yoro's ancestor thing, because remember this map came out at the same time that he did. So
Yeah. I mean, actually, I think our predictions was pretty spot on. We do see X Team Bow picking up the race instead of the jet. It seems like it's gonna be an almost mirror composition, just except for the duelist, just KitKat on the jet versus Snow on the race this time around.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That is exactly going to be the case here. And while I'm sad that we're not going to be seeing anything new like you hoped for, like we both hoped for, this is still going to be a cracker of a match if things go right. And I'm really excited to see how this is going to go this particular time because both of these teams, especially for the side of BASISSIX, they're one map down, so they've got to be feeling a little bit of pressure at the very least heading into this particular map here. They really have to try and close this out to bring it to a sense where they should be feeling a little bit more confident looking at the stats at least. But in Icebox, they still have to close it out. They can't count on an ascent yet before they win this particular one.
Definitely so. I mean, the buys coming through for X Team Bo, they are going to be picking up 2 ghosts and 2 half shields, whereas on the side of BASISSIX, on their attacking half, they're actually opting for the almost half shields instead. And Angela, she was on the jet previously. This time around, she's going to be on the chamber. This is the pre-nerf chamber, by the way. That's why there are going to be 6 bullets in her headhunter right now.
Yeah, she can definitely afford it, that's for sure. Right now, Chamber is just so difficult to play. But anyways, heading into this map, it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a default coming through from the side of the attackers here. They're going to be content to patiently wait. BASISSIX, they know how to play this map. And KitKat, well, once she gets started, it's incredibly difficult to stop her. Both her and Angela can be very, very pivotal on Icebox. They're playing agents that have an incredible amount of power when it comes to taking control and getting those attacks. Already, you can see her floating in place. Interbell is going to be able to spot her out. And Interbell is a player who's managed to switch her agent as well. She's gone from that Sova to the Viper, which is very interesting. She's gonna have to make that mindset switch, but it seems like after being able to clear her out from yellow, they have taken control of B, but it's all a fake, it's all a juke, because Spike and 3 players from the side of BASISSIX, they're just gonna be having the A side for free. They're just strolling up like it's some kind of Saturday night evening walk where they're chilling.
Right here.
Is casually strolling their way onto the A side, able to get that spike plant down as well. Valentine already hears the spike plant going down on A, and as the rotations come through for the side of BASISSIX, so does that on the side of X Team Bo right now. 5v full on 5v5 retake is gonna be a very, very difficult one, especially since on the A side there's so many things that you need to clear. The boom ball gonna spot out Angela, but Valentine is the one who finds the first pick with that headhunter shot. Felcher to respond right back, and Angela as well. So uses the paint shells to try and cause some chip damage, even finds one for troubles right there. Gonna run right into Miguel through the poison orb as well.
Player standing.
Oh, it's all down to just Snoke in a 1v2 right now, and Angela with the 3k on the round is going to be able to close it out. The spike is about to go off, but it doesn't matter because they only have relief pistols, and they managed to keep those two. So that's a great round coming in for BASISSIX. The kind of fake that they pulled off on that B side worked perfectly, and off the back of that, they're going to be able to take this round in a very convincing manner. They get the spike plant, they're going to have that money to be able to buy into this next round here, and they're probably feeling very confident the way they played.
I definitely agree with you right there. I mean, typically, you see teams on a pistol, they like to play together, which is what X Team Bo did. They completely rotated towards the B side, right? And that just left A open for the taking. But this time around, it seems like Interbell, she's going to be playing it in close of a short. He's going to get caught out by the Owl Drone, taken down by Senderi, though. So that's the first pick going the way of BASISSIX already. Angela able to find one for troubles, but Snow is able to trade right back with that frenzy. Numbers advantage still in the favor of BASISSIX right now, as the spike plan is going to go down on this B site.
Yeah, it has gone down already, so all they have to do is really be able to play post plan because they still have both Senderi and Miguel alive. That's a lot of utility that they can dump. Both the snake fights and shock darts are available right now, so it's looking a bit rough. VK does have that barrier orb though, so she can try to do what they did the last time around and try and put down the wall and stick it, but with these lineups, it's going to be very, very difficult. They're going to have to clear out a lot of these players. KitKat already being able to peek and get one offline, getting the second as well. It's all down to just Valentine here, who is not going to find anything because KitKat on this anti-eco is going to absolutely shut these players down. With 4 still alive, they're going to be looking quite good into this next round. And well, and looking at the ultimates as well, they managed to get close to quite a few of them. Both KitKat and Angela are only 2 away from those very, very crucial ults. In fact, Angela might even consider upgrading and buying a hero vandal on this round, in fact, because odds are that they might have the tour de force going into the next round. But it seems like they're going to be content just to play the bonus, and for this bonus, they want to go for an A push here.
I mean, Angela, she does have that headhunter to work with, though, so if she's able to convert 2 kills off the back of that, she will have her headhunter in this. I mean, her Twitter force in this round. But this time around, on the side of X Team Bo, they are going to be running full rifles into Bell. This time around, she's going to be playing on the A side instead of the B.
That is the case here, and the fact that the Viper utility is being invested there instead, invested here instead, it's gonna make pushing into it so much more harder right now for these players from BASISSIX, already taking quite a bit of chip damage. And in the meantime, though, Valentine is able to take out Senderi, who was on the lurk, so that is going to be a very, very impactful kill. No more Viper utility, no more wall available for your pushers. They're gonna have to clear every single corner methodically, and with these Spectres, that's gonna be a very, very difficult proposition right now. It seems like they do still want to go in for this A execute, but there are 3 players right now from the side of X team. Already Interval finding one, Snoke there for the backup as well. It's all down to just one player. Angela left alone in a 1v5. The spike dropped as well. She the least she can try to do at this point is economic damage, because at least some players are quite low. But apart from that, I think her odds of clutching out this round are incredibly low, seeing the crossfires that the X team players are holding.
She does retrieve a Spectre though, but it's not gonna matter because VK is just gonna catch her off guard with that angle there. Flawless round coming through for the size of X Team Bo, which is just exactly what they were looking for.
It was their full buy. Now though, they're gonna have to deal with the BASISSIX being able to buy in those rifles as well. So they're gonna be going up against 5 rifles basically. Both teams do have a lot of utility. Ultimate wise, the Tour de Force is available for Angela, but it seems like she's gonna be saving it until she really needs it, or for the next round possibly. Snoka as well, if she can get 1 kill, she will have that showstopper ready to go, and though that kind of thing can make or break a round. Yet again, the A side is the point of interest for these players from BASISSIX. KitKat already W keying her way forward, and with the help of the drone, they're trying to clear out more area, I believe. However, the Viper wall does go up, so that's going to make this push even more difficult. But it seems like X Team Bo, they're content to play for the retake here, looking at their positions that they're holding.
Seems to be 2 players going in for this flank 3, in fact. With Valentine already peeking out, I don't think Sender will be ready for this at all. She does find ahead of Valentine, though. That's 1 player down on the side of X Team, but the spike plan is going to go down on this A side as well.
Things looking very difficult right now. The spike is down. They have all the post plant in the world, but Interval is able to take down Senderi. She expects these players to be going for that post plant here, and it has to be Miguel who closes it out. Does get that pick, but it's going to be just her left right now in this 1v2, and well, she's not going to be able to find anything because Noka is going to immediately shut that kind of thing down. Second round on board for X Team Bo here, and the flank from Interbell, that was huge because she managed to catch Senderi off guard, so there's no more post plant from the Viper, and she managed to keep Miguel busy for quite a while, so that keeps an additional player from helping out on site here. So Senderi in particular, it's very unfortunate because she got one. I don't think she expected everybody to be coming over here, and she just peeked at the wrong time. She didn't expect Intrabo to be that close to her.
That's actually gonna force the timeout for BASISSIX. So, Zach, what do you think BASISSIX have to do to try and recuperate this rounds here?
I think that they will have to try, and I think they yet again X Team Bo, they're pulling out the same strategy that they were doing on Haven, which was playing for the retake. And I think the first few times they managed to get that post plant in gear, but they're gonna have to play a little bit more aggressively on site, because the only agent that really has utility that is pivotal to clearing out things is going to be Snoka. So if they are able to fight the players on site and buy some more time for the post plant lineup Larrys, as you call them, to come into play, that might be what they need to take these rounds going forward.
As we head back into the game, Valentine this time around, she's gonna have an operator in her hands. Most of these players, they're gonna almost have their ultimates as well. Interval just 1 away from that Viper's pit, but on the other side of the server, Angela, KitKat, and Felcher all have theirs at the ready. So 2 very important ultimates coming through for BASISSIX here, the Tour de Force and as well as the Blade Storm already gonna be used, but Valentine is the one who finds the first pick, shutting down any chances of a Blade Storm running through like a hurricane onto the site.
Yeah, no hurricane, no cloudburst, nothing. But the resurrection is being invested, which is very interesting. The operator, she chooses not to swing. Angela chooses to play this. I'm sorry, not Angela. Valentine chooses to play this a little bit patiently, takes a bit of chip damage before she is forced to fall back. And with that, we're back to a 5v5. Interesting commitment of the resurrection here, but I think they really need KitKat's ultimate as well as utility to make any kind of headway onto site. Sandary, though, she's already walked forwards here with that wall up. She sees the barrel of the Chamber's gun. She's gonna have to try and take her down somehow. But with that wall going down, she might be caught out of position here, and that's gonna make things very, very rough right now. She has marked out the player, but the angle has shifted, and it seems like Valentine is ready for any kind of push coming in. With that, the spike is going down. It's back to a 5v5, and the retake is on. But the guns that BASISSIX have, they're not exactly ideal for any kind of fight here.
Snow does have the showstopper in hand though, so that's going to be very, very useful in clearing out these close angles here. Valentine is the one who finds the first pick. VK and Olulu follow right back up Snow as well, and Deep is going to be coming through. Angela finds one with the 2-4. Can she find anything more? Second player down already, but as the players are pushing through it, so the defense could come through as well. She does find 3 for its troubles, so not that bad of an eco, I would say. But considering the fact that they did invest 3 ultimates, I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, she does do some economic damage as well, like you mentioned, taking down 3 of these players. But the economy for X Team Bo is very healthy. They are going to be able to buy fully back in, including that operator there. So it's not a great achievement. It is something. It's better than nothing. But apart from that, Angela doesn't even manage to pick up a gun, so she's gonna have to buy in fully. Nevertheless, this time around, though, it is the full buy yet again for the side of these BASISSIX players, and they're gonna have to try and convert this somehow. At least the B side doesn't really have an operator anymore. Angela trying to wait it out, see if anyone's gonna be flanking this time, but the X team players, they're not really taking the bait here.
BASISSIX already pushing on to the A side. Spike plant going to go down once again. It's looking like a 5v5 retake. And this time without that much utility. Olulu was fine. Sendary towards Rafters though. Valentine good for the second one onto Angela as well. And the recon dart is going to spot out a couple of these players from the side of BASISSIX. KitKat falls to Olulu as she spots out a hit. Olulu good for 3 in the round as Interbell finds Felcher to clean up the round. Flawless coming through for the side of X Team Bo.
Suddenly things are looking quite desperate, quite bad for BASISSIX because they have lost, if I'm not wrong, 4 rounds in a row. That is something that's less than ideal. And in this particular round, right? Olulu, she gets 3. People are just not watching the right angle. She's able to take down KitKat for free. Nobody ready for those trades. And by the time Miguel decides to peek, it's still going to be an isolated fight for that particular player. So it's still down to a 1v1. These post-line positions from BASISSIX are not exactly standard for their play on Icebox. It seems like they still haven't recovered perhaps from their loss on Haven. Heading into this round though, you do have those rifles coming in. The hero rifle possibly coming in. Nope, it's not going to be coming in. Never mind. You do have the hero rifle coming in for Angela, but apart from that, there's not much really left, and they're walking right into Valentine's crosshair here. So I'm kind of afraid for them right now.
If they can spot her out, she might not be able to do as much damage here. And they do with that owl drone coming out. She's forced to rendezvous back to safety, but she does still have that operator in hand. Watching for the cross right now, does spot out KitKat trying to cross, but that's shot's not gonna connect from her.
Wow, Sandary stays alive somehow there while 2 people towards mid pick a fight with her. She manages to fall back, so that's going to be huge coming in. Yet again, we're in a 5v5 retake situation. Firepower advantage lying in the hands of these players from the side of X Team Bo. The backstab is in as well, and Snoke is going to be able to take down Miguel. That's a huge pick with the Sova going down. That's going to make things very, very rough. Sandary still holding strong though, staying alive, doing her best to keep Snoke distracted here as the rest of the team does their best to go forward. It's just down to Angela right now, and she can't really find anything as with 3 players left alive, and more importantly, no ultimates being invested. It's yet another round, the 5th in a row for the side of X Team Bo, and they're really like Snoka used her ultimate a round and 2 rounds ago, and she already almost has it back. That's insane.
It's insane indeed. She does pick up 3 in the previous round right there, and BASISSIX, they've yet to find a counter to how X Team Bo is really playing right now. They're just waiting for these retakes to come through, which is really, I would say really, really good for them because they do have quite a bit of utility to try and clear these angles out, especially Snow's Boombot as well as Olulu's Owl Drone and the Recon Bolt.
Yeah, a lot of utility that they're not really able to, get out of the side of X Team Bo before they get the spike down, and that's really punishing them in these rounds so far. Already, you see the aggression coming in yet again from Valentine, who seems to be feeling very confident in this particular matchup right now. Eventually, she will be forced off the angle, but that she buys more than enough time for the backup to be coming in, and you already see Snoka making her way over towards the site, has her Boombot as well, only 2 away from that showstopper, and that could prove to be pivotal during this particular round. That heal comes through, so it's going to be Valentine back at 100 HP. The wall going down a bit forward this time around, instantly getting broken, but nevertheless that shows that the players from BASISSIX have gained a little bit more space, but Spike is going to be dropped in a very, very awkward angle there. 4v4 now.
4v4, but I mean, on the side of BASISSIX, Sender is going in for this flank. The Viper's Pit on the side of X Team Bo is gonna fall. I think Sender is about to catch one of the players of X Team Bo off guard here, as the rest of the players of BASISSIX, they're just heading back towards mid. Interbell does find one for the trouble as KitKat caught off guard from that angle, but Olulu able to pick up one. Sender from the flank picks up one, but Olulu good for another kill, and it's all up to Angela. 1v3 situation. All these players on the side of X Team Bo, they have their ultimates at the ready, and it's not looking good for Angela right now.
Yeah, she's running out of time as well. She can't exactly fake the plans and isolate a fight. It's gonna be her having to face down a 1v4 right now as the resurrection is being committed. That's gonna give away the information of the stage's position. And well, Angela's able to TP out, but she has to clutch out a 1v4 here. So that's gonna make things very, very tough right now. Her position is known, and she's not gonna be able to find anything before Interbell takes her down. The one good thing for the side of BASISSIX is that they at least managed to get the resurrection and the Viper's Pit offline. I believe that Senderi still has control of hers, but they messed up there when they tried to keep pushing into this B side. They tried to really isolate these fights, but they were giving them so many 1v1s in unfavorable positions that they just weren't able to really capitalize on it. And I think with that, we're going to be seeing yet another half by coming in. I think they're actually trying to force in as much as they can. So you do have KitKat, you do have that Viper's Pit. I think that's gonna be the win condition. If they can use that Viper's Pit and that Hunter's Fury to somehow convert this round, it's gonna be the boost that BASISSIX so desperately need right now.
Well, Valentine spots out KitKat already. The shot's not gonna connect though, so she's forced to fall back towards rafters this time around. Owl Drone to try and clear these close corners out as KitKat making an advance towards the A side. VK gonna spot out the Owl Drone and break it for good. But the players of BASISSIX, they're already on the site.
They are, and both the wall and the Viper's Pit come down in conjunction. The Hunter's Fury being invested here, not able to really find anything, as in the meantime, Snoka also is willing to pop that showstopper. Spots out, a pin to one player, will be able to connect the kill. Takes a lot of damage in the process though, as in the meantime, Senderi is wreaking havoc in the Viper's Pit. The resurrection comes through as Felcher is able to get Miguel back up. That's huge right now. Angela as well will be able to get one. It's all down to just Interbell in a 1v5. Her position is known. They know exactly where she is, and while she just managed to get a headshot onto KitKat, that's going to be the Phantom. Curse kicking in 140, and all the players of X Team Bo go down to BASISSIX, so finally get a round on the board. What has it been, 6 rounds since they got one?
Yeah, I mean, you got that win condition completely right there. The Viper's Pit was, in fact, the reason why they won that round, because I think on the side of X Team Bo, they gave them too much space to walk up towards the side, and once that Viper's Pit went down, it was just so hard for the side of X Team Bo to try and push in back towards the side. Sure, the Hunter's Fury did try to stall the plant from coming through a little bit, but it didn't find much value, didn't find Senderi the Viper as well, so that's the round for going away of BASISSIX right there.
Yeah, it's very difficult right now for these players. Even if they won that round, their economy is still it's very close to tanking. Already you see Angela and Senderi have found new bursts of confidence. Snoka is still able to do damage though and stays alive, so that is going to be the player to watch out for here as she finds the lurk here. 3v2 right now. No ultimates available. Snoka does still have the full utility kit, so she might be able to use that to perhaps clear out these angles. It's already spotting out one player. They know where KitKat is right now, but while trying to clear these out, I think that the BASISSIX players also do know where the push, the retake is coming from. So Felcher is going to be able to swing off the back of that. A 1v2 right now for Interbell. She's still looking very healthy. She still has a very good shot of being able to close it out if she can isolate these kills, but KitKat is going to be ready for that. That repositioning was perfect, and that is going to be round number 4 for BASISSIX, who are on track for bullying this half back into, a manageable situation here.
That is gonna force the timeout coming out on the side of X Team Bo. So BASISSIX, they've really tried to adapt to how X Team Bo have been playing so far, which is basically going for this retakes, right? And even in the round that one of the rounds that BASISSIX lost as they were trying to adapt, we could see the adaptation coming through already, because instead of trying to play for post plants, they were more willing to play on site, which is what they are doing right now on the A side, especially the previous round with the Viper's Pit, and this round with two players on the side, Felcher and KitKat.
Definitely, and this timeout is a good call because again, you need to really be able to break the momentum of your opponent team. So BASISSIX are slowly getting that. They have won the last 2 rounds in a row. They managed to replenish their economy. Everybody's able to buy in, and they also have 3 ults available. So that Huntress Fury has been online for quite a while right now, and they have to try and play around it because if they let that spike go down, the possibility of a post plant is incredibly high. This time around, though, it seems like the A side is going to be where BASISSIX are looking to attack yet again. They found success twice so far, once with the Viper's Pit and once without it. So I think that they figured out that that's where they're able to really manage getting onto the site. And you see how much more aggressive they're willing to play. They're willing to trade these things out so that by the time the spike goes down, it's more like a 3v3 or a 3v2 or something. So that's going to be the tour de force triggered, though, I think, by Angela. So this should be interesting.
Four players stacked up outside of A, and I'm not too sure about the positionings of these players of X Team Bo. Interbell, she's gonna be playing close this time around. Oh, VK finds the first pickup onto Senderi. Interbell to follow through as well. Viper's Pit is gonna come through. Spots out another player in the form of Felcher, and the spike. That's gonna be a spike in the midst of this Viper's Pit. KitKat does spot out where the position of Snow, but what more can you do here?
I mean, you can't even take the zipline to try and get across and get a couple of picks because even that is being held by a sort of crossfire right now. And the spike is in the middle of the Viper's Pit. The drone coming through for additional info as well. Valentine with the operator already finding one, and it's going to be a flawless as the Ray shuts down the Jet. That's a duelist stiff, at least in this particular round right there. And, the full credits to Interbell there. She comes in, she gets the kill. She's like, okay, I have my pit online. She immediately pops it, and that completely changes the tempo of the round, especially because, Felcher expected her to fall back since the pit was down, but she just pushes forward, and she is rewarded for that kind of risky play. Incredibly rewarded. Right now, though, you do see a little bit of gun swapping. It's the last round after all, and the economy is looking quite incredible for the side of these X-Team Bo players. So, yeah, it's going to be both the operator as well as the Vandal available right now. Doesn't matter though, because she's got to be on the B side, and it seems like the action is going to be happening more towards A and mid instead here.
Senderi seems like she wants to go in for this lurk this time around, so maybe she's trying to make some magic happen here, as the Hunter's Fury is going to be used on the side of BASISSIX. Does not connect onto anyone.
Indeed, that's the case. And again, the patience coming in from these players on XT Bo, it's quite commendable because they know that they have the utility to really hold these crossfires and get a lot of information. They are aware of the possibility of a kitchen lurk though, so you do see that drone being invested to possibly try and clear these areas out. It's not going to spot the player up in kitchen. Senderi manages to stay undetected here and might be able to capitalize off the back of this, as Olulu might be walking into her crosshairs right now. Very high risk, high reward play, and Olulu putting out that recon dart, that's going to give away the information that there is, in fact, a player towards this angle if she's not careful. Senderi still holding strong. She's gonna be the key of this round here. She has to make or break this round.
Valentine is going to be finding the first pick on the future though. Oh, Lulu gonna spot out one player, but Senderi converts the kill as the trades come through. It is going to be a 2v2 situation right now. Valentine still has this operator in her hands, but the spike is going to be planted down on this B site. Interval coming in with this flank.
I don't know if they expect her because she might have been able to smoke off that she might have been able to smoke off that chamber trip, so Angela had no idea. It's all down to just Miguel, who gets absolutely deleted there, for lack of a better word, by that headhunter. And with that, it's going to be an 8-4 half coming in right now for X Team Bo, who have taken a significant lead, I would say, in this defensive half. They did a great job, but the question is, can they convert the attacking half as well? Sure, they have the advantage here, but will they be able to, make the most of this?
I do think they have, in terms of clearing corners, they do have more utility in the form of snows, boombots, and paint shells. So that could be really, really useful in coming in for this attacking half for X Team Bo.
It could be, and one more thing to note is, like you mentioned, the ray is great for entry. You can clear out a lot of utility with, you can clear out a lot of angles with the utility, and the post plant is very similar for both of these teams. They also have the Sova as well as the Viper utility to try and play for these post plant situations. So, if BASISSIX do not manage to get the pistol in gear, if they don't manage to get that in their pockets, we're looking at a very possible runaway game. Wow, X Team Bo really does not want to go to Ascent. Looking at the performance that they're putting up on Icebox, that's my takeaway from it so far.
I definitely agree with you right there. I think they seem pretty comfortable on Icebox, especially from the start. Even though they lost the first 2 rounds, they managed to win 6 rounds in a row just off the back of switching up how they play and making it go into they basically what they did was force up 5v5 retakes, which in a sense kind of favored how they played. And because of the utility that they had, the Vipers Toxic Screen to try and cut off those angles, as well as the Sova Owl Drone and recombo, even the Shock Dust to try and clear out those close corners, and not to mention the raised paint shells and boombot as well.
Yeah, and the more important thing is, on these 5v5 retakes, they were extremely methodical about it. They didn't rush, they went section by section. They were like, let's clear under rafters, let's clear near generator, let's move on after that, and then they know exactly which angles to watch. And of course, a lot of these rounds, right, they still had that barrier orb remaining. There was a Sage who just came down, the Spike is here, plops down that barrier orb, sits down, starts defusing, everybody else takes the fight. It's okay, I'll just keep defusing the Spike. And that worked out quite well for them, I think, on a lot of these rounds. So their defense was incredibly strong, and they didn't get too aggressive. That's the thing. In a comp like this, you'd expect them to really be able to play aggressively, but no, they were happy. They were like, look, we know you have to come to the side and plant the spike. We're just going to be waiting for you, and we're going to be holding these incredibly annoying crossfires that you're not going to be able to get through. And we're going to be able to convert off the back of that. Their timeouts as well was really good. One of the timeouts that they called was right when BASISSIX started picking up momentum, making things very rough for them. Heading into this attacking half, though, it's going to be X Team Bo who have to find 5 more rounds to be able to take this 2-0. That is their hope, I believe. And it seems like we're heading for a mid push, which is an area that you didn't really see coming in much from anybody apart from Senderi for the side of BASISSIX. It seems like X Team Bo, they're much more comfortable with it, and they're already making their way forward with the help of that smoke there. In the meantime, KitKat tries to get a pick, but it doesn't exactly succeed. Gets tagged up quite a bit as well. And towards Tube, there's been information that there's at least one player here. So Miguel is going to have to watch that, letting them get further control up on the map. But look at Angela here. Grammy.
She does note out the location of this trademark, so she's not going to trigger it right now. Interval just might walk into this crosshair. Oh no, she turns away at the wrong time.
Incredibly awkward. Angela has so much to
Oh.
do, but she's still able to somehow get that pick. Poor Interval goes down, caught with the smoke in the hand. Snoke is able to at least trade it, but that's gonna be all that they get before the spike goes down. Things back down to a 4v4. The thing is, the cavalry is already coming in. You see the rotations coming through. You can see Felcher trying to clear out mid, make sure that there's nobody really lurking, trying to make things more dangerous. And on this pistol round, nobody is going in for a flank or a lurk. That Shock Dart doing a little bit of damage to a Lulu who still looks quite healthy, and the second one completely misses. So a 4v4 retake right now. I think that Felcha also has the barrier orb available, so the defuse might be able to come through if they can get it down. That does seem to be the idea here. Both the smoke and the wall have been invested, but oh no, the paint shells miss.
The trades do come through, the defuse is just gonna be stuck right there, but somehow, someway, X-Team Bo managed to convert the round. They broke the wall, a little bit of Minecraft action coming through, but nonetheless, they were able to convert off the back of that, what seemed like a round that BASISSIX probably should have won, because right off the bat, they took off Interbell, the Viper, and that means that there's just no smokes for the side of X-Team Bo to kind of cut off these angles coming in for the side of that BASISSIX had to push through, right? And then means less of a post plant situation as well. So
Revealing area.
that was what a pistol round coming in from X Team Bo right there.
Yeah, and it's, one more. This round, it's very interesting that the side of BASISSIX, they're not opting into force because they did get the spike down. Those they should be able to like afford weapons if they choose to, but no, they're just gonna be going in for a half buy instead. Angela forced to use 3 sheriff bullets to clear out that boom bot. Less than ideal because now she only has 4 left to try and get these kills. That's the only real weapon online for these players right now, when they have to somehow contend with the full 5 specters coming in for the side of X Team Bo. They're still playing really patiently though. They don't want to rush this. They don't want to mess up, walk into a shorty. All kinds of dangers in these eco rounds, and they're aware of them, which is why they're going this slowly. Angela though might be able to find the timing again. We'll hear that barrier coming through, and we'll be able to get that pick onto Snoke with a very clean shot. Does get taken out by Intro, but nevertheless that was pretty impressive. At least when it comes to aim. That shot coming in. Interbell as well, playing a dangerous game here in this kitchen area, all alone, trying to hold the push. And with that, the spike is going to be going down on the B side yet again.
Interbell, 3 kills in the round already, finds 2 with the Spectre up in kitchen. And numbers advantage right now in the favor of X Team Bo. It seems like they just want to close this round out as soon as possible without losing anything else. But oh, Lulu's gonna be tagged up right now. Spectre shot's not gonna connect. Finally, does get a pickup onto Miguel and VK to close out the round, bringing X Team Bo to double digits here.
Yeah, almost a flawless round as well. Like, sure, Snoka managed to go down to that beautiful headshot from Angela, which we just saw. But apart from that, they managed to get all the picks. They get there. I think that some of them are pretty close to their ultimates as well. And especially this play from Interbell, that's going to be very crucial heading into the next rounds because she's only 3 away from that Viper split. Both VK and Interbell, they've gotten 3 kills each in these rounds. So those are 2 very important notes that are online quite quick. And this is the round which can make or break BASISSIX here. They have to win this to keep this game alive, because otherwise it's just going to be X Team Bo who are running away with the show. On this bonus, they're already not afraid to get a bit aggressive here. So we're pushing out towards mid. Sentry trying to go forward, get that kill, but it's going to be Intrabel who converts it, picks up that upgrade on top of everything else. Ululu finding a player towards his A side. 2v3 right now, but Miguel is really low. Felcha has to stay alive, not only for herself, but also for her teammate who she really needs to patch up. Does take her down. It's all down to just Intrabel right now. A 1v2 situation. Does she know where Angela's playing? Nope, she does not, and that's going to be the end of that. But if Intrabel had played that a bit carefully, if she had managed to take down Angela there, that would have been the Viper split and possibly the round going in their favor. A very expensive victory for the side of BASISSIX here, Grimmy.
Yeah, they lost like 3 rifles, I believe. So coming to this next round it might seem like a very tough situation for them right there. Yeah, I think KitKat, she can't really buy up this time around. We do see a Bulldog and a Guardian coming out on the side of BASISSIX. On the other side of the server, the X Team Bo, they're able to buy up full rifles this time around, so
Yeah. You're right, but more than that, they also have an ultimate, a very, very crucial ultimate, because guess who has that Viper's Pit ready? No one else than Interbell, and it seems like they want to push towards this B side and possibly commit here. If if they feel like it, they are gonna be pushing Angela off her aggressive position from B main with the help of that drone, and with that, the rest of the players are going to be heading forward. This time around, Angela does have some backup in the form of Senderi. Also, there's been no backstab really placed at all. There's the trademark is still in the possession of the chamber here, so that's gonna make things very rough. Angela stays alive, doesn't go down, but she's gonna be playing this very close angle, and she gets immediately taken out. The Viper's Pit committed as well. KitKat trying to push forward, possibly get a pick or two here, but she's gonna be losing HP the longer she stays in this Viper's Pit, and PK immediately is able to take her down. The wall does get spammed at and does get broken, but it's not gonna matter because the spike still goes down, and it's gonna come down to a 4v3 retake right now.
Snow is actually trying to go in for this aggressive angle up on yellow, but unfortunately she's not going to connect the shots. The resurrection is going to come through to bring her right back to life, but Senderi with 2 more kills to her name, already 3 kills in the round, and the barrier orb going to come through as well. McGill finds VK through this Viper's Pit, but Interbell fires right back. Defuse is going to come through for the side of BASISSIX.
The flank! Oh no, she manages to break the wall, make her way around and get that kill. It was such a second away from the defuse coming through. That was a phenomenal play coming in from Interbell here. It almost went very badly with the resurrection going wrong and Senderi being able to pick up a 3k, but Interbell, she was very smart about it. She managed to make her way, break the wall, push her way through even as the flank came in from that chamber, and that is going to be 11-5 right now. The economic situation not exactly healthy for these BASISSIX players. They do have that Viper's Pit, but on this eco round, are they really going to commit it? That's the question.
Angela wants to go for this orb to try and get her ultimate online, but it's gonna get shut down from the aggression coming in from X Team Bo.
Yeah, no tour de force available here for BASISSIX. That's one important ult that they're really missing, which is very sad because they are just 1 or 2 away from a lot of these crucial ults. They're 1 away from the tour de force, 1 away from that Hunter's Fury. If they could have gotten them online, it would have made things much easier. Instead, it's going to be Snoka who picks up that orb 1 away from that showstopper. So that is something to watch out for, because if it's party time, you really don't want to be in the way of that giant rocket coming at your face. They already do have control of this site. If they push a little bit forward, they might be able to get it. 2 players still there though, so Snoka is playing this very cautiously, and ooh, Angela connects it. Very dirty shot too, in fact, somehow keeping the dreams alive for BASISSIX. It's all down to just Interbell here in a 1v3 right now. She's walking around, and it seems like perhaps these players are not aware of the possibility that she might be here, but even if they aren't, KitKat is, and that's going to be the Thrifty converting for BASISSIX. Finally, a round that they really, really needed. Like, I have no words to describe how much they needed that round.
Angela's shots, though, I mean, her shots have been insane for the previous 2 rounds itself, but this was the literal play that won them the round, I believe. It just completely shut down the plan to come through from VK right there, just as the barrier orb was coming up on the 2nd floor on the A site. So
yeah,
this time around, she does have the tour de force.
Yeah, she's going to be investing it right off the bat. So that is one thing that these players from X Team Blue are going to have to be very careful about. They are playing for a half buy here, so not much that they really have to lose. They're just full sending it right now towards this kitchen area, already tagging up Velcha quite a bit. She will be able to heal herself back up because she is a Sage, but off the back of that, they do have control at least of this kitchen and tube area, and will be able to get the spike down as well. The Hunter's Fury being committed, trying to take out these players, but it's not going to find any real value here, even as Snoka manages to take down Velcha. The trades coming through very quickly for both of these teams. It's a 2v4 right now, and Snoka and Interbell, they're gonna have to pull off some heroics to try and win it, make that a 1v4. It's all down to just Interbell here. We've seen her pull off some crucial clutches before, but this time around that's not gonna be the case, as BASISSIX, they get to 7.
I mean, the frenzy just doesn't really work at long range. It's really a hit or miss weapon at longer ranges, and unfortunately for Interbell in that situation, the shots weren't connecting for her. This time around, they are gonna be on the full buy. Angela opting for an operator. She does have the players of BASISSIX. They have so much economy built up from the previous few rounds because they did win a Thrifty and picked up like what three Vandals off X Team Bo, and even in the previous round they only lost like one player. So the economy is looking really strong for BASISSIX right now.
Yeah, that is the case here. And we've seen the damage that BASISSIX can do if you let them get the momentum. Last time, like last map, literally on Haven, they managed to win 5 rounds in a row or 6 rounds in a row off the back of that first 2 that they got. So there is a very big danger here for X Team Bo that the comeback story might be happening already. You can see Intrabel making her way through the tube and getting that crucial pick onto Miguel. That is going to be the Sova utility down. No more info, no more drone. And she's going to be getting back up to full HP as well. But look at Senderi's position with that Viper split. Already being able to get that pick onto Snoka is huge there. The resurrection as well being invested to get Miguel back up alive, and that's going to bring things back down to a 4v5 here. Map control wise though, it seems like X Team Bo have at least managed to clear out as far as the B area here. I think they know that yellow is kind of empty. Angela though, she is holding this very crucial angle. If X Team Bo players decide to try and lurk up too far, they are going to be paying for it with Angela's operator online there.
This toxic screen just might cut her off right now. No, she's gonna go aggressive here. Valentine, are you aware of what's on the other side of this whole toxic screen? She just takes out the operator off of the hands of Angela with a Vandal, in fact. And off the back of that, she does have the tour de force to work with. Felcher finds Interbell not looking in her direction, so numbers advantage still in the favor of BASISSIX right now.
Yeah, and I think they're aware of the possibility of the flank as well. So it is going to be one player possibly watching that, but never mind. They're not going to be watching it. They're watching the wrong thing at the wrong time. The Hunter's Fury is invested, but is not going to find any value as it immediately gets shut down. VK does do a bit of damage to KitKat, but runs out of bullets before she can complete the job. 11-8 right now as BASISSIX. They are on track to coming back on their map pick here. I think with that, the economy is also going to be a little bit broken for the side of the players from X Team Bo, and I think that they also invested that tour de force already. Like you saw the chamber for them pull it out, and yep, that's a really good time to take a timeout because they have to stop the momentum, and more than that, they have to figure out what they can do better heading into this next round here.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. If X Team Bo, they can pull off some magic coming into this next round with the sheriffs and the Spectre that they have, it's gonna be it's gonna put them at match point. And Interbell, she's actually just 2 away from the Viper split. So if she's able to get that online, maybe pick up the orb of an A side and find a pick elsewhere, that could be the win condition for this round. But BASISSIX, they might expect this sort of play, so they might look to shut her down in that sense.
That is a possibility as well, because like you mentioned, that showstopper, I think the showstopper is one of the most crucial ults that they really have to try and create space. The Raze just doesn't have the same versatility as a Jet. When you can put down a cloud burst, you can dash into it. You can play with a lot of elevations, but it's much more challenging to do those kind of plays with the Raze, and you can very easily be taken down in those kind of positions. So they might expect it, like you said. This is a half fight coming in for X Team Bo. They do have the Spectres, which can be devastating in close range, but on a map like Icebox, you're not going to get much of a chance to really isolate those kind of fights. Mid, yet again, is the area where it seems like these players want to concentrate. Ooh, a nice little lineup there for that's Poison Orb to block off these crucial angles. And in the meantime, on A side, they're happy to get quite aggressive here.
Oh, but it's through mid. It seems like the players of XTBO, they're already going to be pushed. Miguel and KitKat does shut down a little bit of this aggression, but Snow fires right back with a Spectre of hers. Unable to grab that weapon upgrade though, unfortunately, as the players of X Team Bo, they have to regroup here before they decide to hit a site. Angela is still holding down the B site.
She is still there, and that's an obstacle that you really don't want to face without preparation, especially when you have like rifles that aren't ideal for that kind of a fight against an operator. You don't want to risk it, so they are going to be heading back towards A, which is not a bad call. I mean, yes, Senderi is here, the Sage is here, Felcher is here, but apart from that, the site is relatively empty. They are going to be taking a 3v2 engagement, if at all any.
But Senderi, she's playing a very ratty angle. They might not expect to clear her out there, especially with this Viper wall going out. That's the debuff coming through, and if they decide to get a bit too aggressive, that's going to make things very, very rough right now. That's going to be Snoka's position, being able to capitalize on it. It's going to come down to a 1v2, I'm sorry, a 1v3 right now, and before she can swing onto Senderi, Snoka is going to be shut down 11-9, and this is going to be the last full buy that X Team Bo have before scores get equalized here. So we're looking at the possibility of overtime if they can somehow win the next one as well.
Once again, as you mentioned, the full buy is going to come through. Not so much the full buy. Valentine still unable to afford a rifle. But the rest of the players here, they are going to be picking up these Vandals and Phantoms. Valentine does opt for this Bulldog, the last resort weapon that X Team Bo can afford right here. KitKat with an advanced positioning finds Snow. That's the first. That's a duelist down for the side of X Team Bo.
A very, very crucial pick here, and she doesn't even take any damage while doing it. Is able to safely fall back here, and will be spotting out multiple players pushing in. So that's going to be the rotations possibly summoned over here, even as Sandri lurks her way out towards A. In the meantime, though, towards this B main, I think that Interbell was able to pick up that orb, and she has that Viper Spit online. So that's going to be a very, very crucial ultimate this particular round for X Team Bo. If they can manage to get it down, it's going to be something that can make or break the round for them. On the opposite side, there's only going to be the Blaze from Millie available for KitKat. Valentine, though, she gets a little bit too eager, pushes into Felcha, and gets taken down for her troubles. A 2v4 right now, but the spam through the smoke is deadly as a spike. It goes down. It's all down to just Interbell here in this 1v4 situation. Gets spotted out as well, so she's going to be forced to fall back, but it's not going to matter because if that drone tags you in a Viper Spit, you're dead anyway, and it's 11-10 right now. The ult wasted, the gun's gone, and BASISSIX, they are on track to come back and take this map. How'd that rhyme?
Snow's actually been holding on to this showstopper for a while now. I mean, sure, she got shut down by KitKat in the previous round, but this time around, she might look to cause some damage with that.
Hopefully is the case. She still does have her hands on it, but it's going to be an equal round, so I'm not sure if she's gonna be investing it this time around. They might decide to just play in for that possible 13-11 like they did the last time around, which is what they're doing here. They just need one more round for a match point and one more for series points, so they just need these 2 rounds in a row to really capitalize on it. The operator, though, Angela, she's gonna have a rare miss as she does not connect with the few pixels that she saw of her opposition there. Will be forced to fall back. It's not gonna matter for much though, because even though they've driven the operator away, they're aware that multiple players like to play on this A side, so that's not gonna be really doing much in the way of gaining control. They haven't even managed to get all the way to the orb yet. In the meantime, it is going to be Snoka who is lurking towards B, but this time around nobody's taking the bait. Nobody's really pushing forward here, so all of these lurk positions coming in from these players, it's not working out for much at all. The spike as well, they seem undecided as to where they want to go, and with half the clock run down already, I'm not sure.
Angela does find the first pickup onto VK though, so that's the Sage down on the side of X Team Bo. The spike gonna heading through mid. 30 seconds left on the clock. Miguel and Center find picks of their own here. Miguel good for 2 already, all up the Snow, but what more can you do? The Spectre does not work at long range as KitKat takes her out. Flawless round coming through for BASISSIX to bring them to tie up the game right now. 11-11 scoreline.
Yeah, if I was BASISSIX, I would not fancy my position right now because they're in kind of a desperate spot here, honestly. They do have that showstopper and that resurrection, but they are not able to really make any kind of headway into these sides. Both KitKat and Angela are willing to play aggressively, and they're being rewarded for their persistence because they're not just blindly pushing out. They're either holding an angle with an operator, or it's going to be KitKat who's making an aggressive play off the back of the Sofa util, and it's working out great for them so far. This time around, it seems like a fast A push is the way to go for these players, and already you can see Angela playing the close angle, spots out the shoulder of VK but is not able to connect the shot before she's forced to fall back, and off the back of that the showstopper is going to be activated, but there's nobody for Snoka to really hit with it, so she's going to be forced to possibly waste it. In fact, The operator doesn't connect yet again. Miguel investing that Hunter Sphere to try and catch a player off guard, but is only going to be able to tag up VK. In the meantime, though, it's going to be Valentine finding the first blood on the round. That's going to be the resurrection offline, I think, for the side of the BASISSIX players. 4v5 and the retake is on.
Owl to try and clear out these close corners here. Does spot out Olulu. And the rest of the players of BASISSIX to try hitting onto this side. Olulu good for one, but Miguel trades it right back. Numbers advantage still in the favor of X Team Bo right now as VK actually going for this flank. Angela gonna be on the bomb defusing. He's gonna get taken out by Interbell. Snow finds two in a round, and that's match point for X Team Bo.
Match point and series point just one away from locking in their spot in that upper bracket final, and they really want it. They're hungry for it right now, and they finally managed to break the momentum of these BASISSIX players. All they really need to do is convert further, but the thing is they managed to get this kind of control with the help of that showstopper, and of course with Angela missing out on that first crucial shot. So that is something that might not go in their favor the same way again. Looking at the ultimates though, they still do have that resurrection coming in from VK, so that's huge right now. Apart from that, well, Felcha is only 2 away and Sandori is only 2 away for the side of BASISSIX, 2 very crucial out, so that's going to be important. Valentine has picked up that operator, so it's going to come down to Angela versus Valentine for this operator battle. It seems like Angela's on the opposite side of the map though, so Valentine might be able to possibly get a pick and be uncontested as she holds the line here.
Toxins going up.
Sandori already made her way up in his advanced positioning. I'm not too sure if the players of X Team Bo will be expecting this, but it seems like they're giving them a lot of space on the side this time around for the X Team Bo players to head in. The paint shells take out two. Miguel and Felcha both fall. VK good for a third as well, and the numbers advantage so much in the favor of X Team Bo as they secure the spike plant.
Not like this, not like this. How do you lose 2 to the paint shells there is what was going to be haunting BASISSIX if they lose this round, and the possibilities of them somehow converting it are not looking high right now. We're looking at a possible another 13-11 here because it's all down to Sandori and Angela here already. Sandori going down. Angela 1v4 right now, finds one with the op, but she has so much work to do here. She can't even spray through this wall because of how it's positioned. The clock is ticking on top of everything else, making things even more rough, and as she tries to get through the gap, it's going to be Interbell to close things out, and our winners for this map as well as the series are going to be X Team Bo, who take this 2-0, and that is very unexpected because I generally thought it would go all the way to Ascent, but X Team Bo, it seems like they're a team that's aware of where they're weak, which is that Ascent. They're like, yeah, you know what, we're not going to let it get all the way to Ascent, we're just going to get a 2-0 here, and they do exactly that.
I definitely agree with you right there. 2-0 to close out this series. Congratulations to X Team Bo for making it to the upper bracket finals. But that's not the end of the story for the side of BASISSIX though, as they get knocked down to the lower brackets. They still have a chance to come back into this, and I think both these teams here played phenomenal, especially since off the back of how X Team Bo was coming into this map, they showed a really strong performance, especially on the attacking half. The fact that BASISSIX was able to bring it back so close, even tying up the scoreline 11-11 at one point, just goes to show how strong their team actually is.
Oh yeah, no, they've been incredible. They 2-0'd yesterday, and you need to remember both of the maps that they've lost, they've been incredibly close. 13-11, just one round away from overtime, and especially on the first map, that was a heartbreaker because on Haven they lost just because of time. They had the numbers advantage. I believe that if they had a few more seconds on the clock, it could have very easily got to overtime. But map number 2, you have to give X10 Bo credit for that incredibly strong defense that they put up in the first half of the map. 8-4 was the score, and very well earned. They managed to win the pistol as well, but the fact that they managed to come back from, I think it was 10-4, the fact that BASISSIX managed to come back from 10-4 to 13-11 is commendable for them. It's just unfortunate that they managed to find their footing a little bit too late on this map for it to really make a difference. On both of these maps, in fact, they've gotten their comeback stories are incredible. They're able to string together these 5 or 6 rounds in a row to be able to take it close to overtime, but unfortunately it's just not enough today. So it's not the end of them, like you mentioned. We are going to be seeing them in the lower brackets, so that is definitely something that I'm looking forward forward to it because I don't think we're done with this yet. But looking at the score, let's just take a look at the scoreboards for Icebox because I'm very curious to see who the MVP for this particular map is going to be. If I'm not wrong, last time around it was Senderi for the side of BASISSIX. This time around it's going to be KitKat instead, who takes it going forward. The Senderi is not very far behind, 229, 225. They were very close together.
And on the other side, X Team Bo's Snoker is gonna be the MVP. Race pick coming through with 298 ACS. That's so close to 300, and she really did put up a phenomenal performance this time around on this map, especially with her utility usage as well as her entry fragging powers.
Yeah, and of course that last round that's gonna be haunting the BASISSIX players for a good while now because it was Snoke with her with her paint shells finding those two frags somehow. I still wish that had been caught on cam because that was a heartbreaker right there for the side of BASISSIX. Who, if you do look at the way these objectives are structured, they do have the advantage when it comes to both headshots and frag wins, especially headshots. They have just been tapping heads on the server today on Icebox. Even the damage as well. Like X Team both, they barely have more damage. They have 400 more damage. That's it. That's like 3 kills or 4 kills coming in. So it was that close of a game. X Team Bo, they've got to be feeling very happy with themselves because they were facing a very tough opponent. The fact that they managed to 2-0 them, that's commendable.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there. And this is pretty interesting because the last time around X Team Bo, they actually had more frag wins than objective wins. And we are going to be seeing the MVP, which is going to be X Team Bo's Snoker right here on this Reese, especially for Icebox. Once again, 298 ACS with KDA of 1.7. That is absolutely phenomenal right there.
Yeah, she has a 16.7% of first bloods as well, I believe. So that is insane because you saw her quite a few times leading the charge, like especially those last few rounds on Icebox. It was Snoka who was leading the charge, for using that showstopper, popping those paint shells, getting those first impact frags, and basically being able to open up the side for the rest of her team. So she deserves that MVP. And congratulations, X Team Bo. You're going to be moving on to the upper bracket final, where I believe you'll be facing Exton Sapphire tomorrow. So that's going to be a really, really crucial map. But we're not done for the day. We do have one more series coming up. But before we head into that, we're going to be having a bit of a short break. So yeah, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.